Okay, good morning. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here and to share some thinkings and some practice with you. Okay, we have 2 days. There is more or less 3 hours every day. So I think that with these 2 days I can develop several different aspects of the practice of making films. I will start from the very beginning. This is the always exemplifying by my experience. And I will start what is the preparation of a project, the concept. Then we will go on the shooting. That I think that there are interesting things to tell, and maybe tomorrow we'll go with the edit and with the post-production and film festivals and all these things. But I think that today we will concentrate more on this, what is the shooting and what is my practice linked to the digital technology. Okay, let's start. Because when I decided to become a filmmaker, because I will explain my roots, my origin. So it's very important to understand then how I developed my methodology. That is very specific, but it comes from the origin of the answering the question why I decided to become a filmmaker. And I never studied film. I never studied any kind of these art studies. I studied literature in the university during 6 years, Spanish literature and then comparative literature and theory of literature. So my roots were really inside the books and literature.
Ჩემს ფესვებზე მოგიყვებით ასე თქვა და საიდან დავიწყე ჩემი გზა როგორ გავხდი რეჟისორი, იმიტომ რომ მე ადამიანია ვარ, ამერიკის სკოლაო, 6 წელი სწავლობდი ლიტერატურაზე და ლიტერატურის ისტორიას. ამიტომ ჩემი გამოცდილება არის წიგნებში და რა თქვა კინოში.
And then when I was like 26, finishing my studies, and I realized that life was every time more boring and that there was in fact nothing to do. And I was in summer with some friends, obviously working because I come from a normal middle class family. And I was 26 and I said that every summer, was more boring than the previous one, So I don't know, I was a little bit worried about this. And a normal thinking when you are worried for this problem, it's that you have to react. You have to do something, just to change this tendency that inevitably, was going down and down and down, and there was nothing interesting to do. Of course, if you study literature, the normal thing should be to become a writer. This should be the normal path for somebody with some kind of artistic things in mind. But I was a little bit lazy, and I think that it's a solitary work, very hard, tough work, and in Spain there was a lot of good writers. So I thought that it would be difficult to make a living and to have a good career. But then I realized that there was cinema. It was at the beginning of digital technology. This was at the beginning of 2000. So there was some friends. I was obviously a cinephile before. I really, I was in deep following cinema, and I knew a lot about films and filmmakers. But, I never thought I would be a filmmaker. But I was there, thinking about being a writer. Everything was more boring. And I realized that in Spain, all the filmmakers were very bad. So I said, with digital technology, all are very bad. It will be easy, to be the best one in Spain.
კინოს მანამდეც მივდიოდა ვადამებდი ყურადღებას, მაგრამ ამგვარად დაუკვირდი ასეთ ახალი ტექნოლოგიების და იმით ვფიქრობდი, რომ მარტივი იქნებოდა ესპანეთში წარმატებული გამხდარიყავი კინოს სფეროში.
So I said, no, it will be easy to be the best, and at the same time we will have some fun. You know, this boring life I was having, and we'll have some fun because cinema is a collective art. So with digital technology, you don't need professionals, so you can do it a little bit with your friends, with the people you like. So no, it was a perfect plan to try to, in fact, to try to change your life.
და გადაწყვეტე რომ მარტივი იქნებოდა მთელი ამ ტექნოლოგიების ხელშიო პირველი და საუკეთესო გამხდარიყავი ამ სფეროშიო, თანაც რომ ამ ტექნოლოგიის ხელშიო შეიძლება მეგობრებთან სადაც გაიგეთებინა, არ არის აუცილებელი რომ პროფესიონალები ყოფილიყვნენ და თან სახალისო იყო ეს პროცესი, ამიტომ გადაწყვეტე რომ ეს იდეალური გეგმა იქნებოდა ჩემთვის.
And obviously there was, because I was, I always thought that I was an artist, so there was an aesthetic ambition at the end to do not only film but to do concrete films. And with creating my own style and to print in film my own vision.
ასე ყოველთვის ხელოვანი ვიყავიო და ეს შემოქმედებითი მისწრაფება მქონდა რომ რაღაც ესთეტიური შემექმნა და კინოში ვცდილობთ ყოველთვის საკუთარი თავის ზრდა და ჩემი თავის ჩადება ამ კინოში შემეძლო.
Because this was, since the very beginning, I realized that this was the most difficult thing. Because you can be talented, and you go to the school and you see that there is people that is talented for maths, or another one for music, or another one, it's for cinema. But how you know that you are talented for cinema? It's very difficult to know because it's something that it comes with practice. And okay, maybe it's linked with some kind of psychological aspects, that can help you to deal with actors and to because the main material in filmmaking, it's human beings. I always say that I do not work with the camera, I do not work with the light, I do not work, I work with people. And people, it's real people in front of the camera. This is actor, professionals and non-professionals. But my main material, it's manipulating people. And creating, a special atmosphere on their mind in order to achieve some kind of also a strange atmosphere inside the frame.
და ის რაც თავიდან მარტივი მომეჩვენე სიმღერაში ასე მარტივი აღმოჩნდა, იმიტომ რომ სკოლაში როცა ხარჯობ ვიღაცას მათემატიკაში აქვს ნიჭი, ვიღაცას კიდე რაღაცაში აქვს ნიჭი და კინოს ხრივ ნიჭი გაქვს თუ არა, ეს მამას მხოლოდ პრაქტიკაში შეიძლება რომ გაიგო და თანაც ამ სიტუაციაში შემოთიერთობა განათლებასთან, კამერასთან, არამედ ადამიანებთან იქნება ეს მსახიობი, პროფესიონალი თუ არა პროფესიონალი და კამერის მიღმა ოპერატორი, ადამიანებთან გაქვს ურთიერთობა, უნდა შეძლო ადამიანების манипулირება.
But how do you know that you are good in this? It's very difficult, as I said, and you have to do it. You have to practice it, and then you will see if you are good. Then you realize, obviously, that it is not enough. It's quite easy to be talented for something, but in cinema, as it's a complex machine, and you need several skills. Not only, because to be a filmmaker on the set, but just to finance, to convince people. To finance the things, to convince actors, you need, some other skills too, but until you prove this, you don't know that you are good at it. And it's not enough to be good at it because the world is full of people that is doing films.
არის მხოლოდ ნიჭებზე და სხვა სქილებს უნდა გქონდეს, სხვა უნარები უნდა გქონდესო, თუნდაც პროდიუსინგში მაგალითად გაყიდო შემდეგ ეს ფილმი, მოიძიო ფინანსები და ასე შემდეგ და ინდუსტრიაში არსებობს უამრავი ადამიანი, რომელიც ნიჭიერი თუ არა ნიჭიერი, მაგრამ ამ პროფესიით უკვე დაკავებულია დიდი განმავლობაში, ამიტომ შენ აუცილებლად უნდა ცადო ეს ჯერ და პრაქტიკაში შეიცნო, რამდენად შეიძლება ამ ყველაფრის კეთება.
So there is a lot of people that it's making films, on TV, everywhere you will be hundreds of thousands of people. So and I didn't care about filmmaking. For me, it was at the beginning the way to have fun, to get less bored in summer. I didn't have any, high respect. I wanted to be a writer. Not, I always consider literature, at the highest point, cinema, it's something, very easy. I thought it was very easy for me, and, it was not very difficult to be good at it. But, so the goal was not to be filmmaker, to have, to make a living or to make films. This was not my goal at all.
ეს თავიდან მომრავი ადამიანი მუშაობს ამ ინდუსტრიაში, იქნება ეს ტელევიზია, თუ იქნება ეს კინო და მე თავიდან დავიწყეო, ჩემთვის ეს არ იყო რაღაც ფულის შრომის საშუალება ან პროფესიული მისწრაფება, იმიტომ რომ მე მინდოდა რომ ყოფილიყო წერალიო და ლიტერატურა უფრო მაღლა იყო ჩემთვის და იყო რაღაც გასართობი გაფულში დროის სატარებელი საშუალება იყო და მარტივი მეგონა, რაც შემდგომში ასე არ იყო.
Even nowadays, I don't care about making films. If I was millionaire, I don't make films, I will be at home or having, some fun with friends. I will never make a film. So the goal was not to be filmmaker, what I don't care at all. The goal was to do it, if we wanted to do it, and creating our own style, doing it on our own way, to really, really have fun and to really create, an environment or an atmosphere around the making of a film that was, funny and that pleased us, that it was really different. And with this I was convinced that also the images that we will have at the end will be different, will be fulfilled with a different atmosphere, will be, that as this ambience, it's not very common, around shooting because, until that time, at the beginning of digital, making films was a professional thing. I mean, there was a big machine involved, a lot of people, lighting, big cameras, complicated things. So, for me this was very difficult to think that I could be filmmaker with all this big machine, because this will be very boring. ხელოვნება იყო რაღაცა დიდი მექანიზმი, რომელშიც პროფესიონალიზმი ფასდებოდა და ჩემთვის რომ ჩვენ გვიდოდა რომ ის სურათი, რომელსაც საბოლოო ჯამში მივიღებდით, ყოფილიყო რაღაც განსაკუთრებული და განსხვავებული და ის რასაც ჩვენ ვაკეთებთ, ამის შეგრძნება განსხვავებული იყო ყველაფერზე. არ მინდოდა მანქანასთან ერთად მეკეთებინაო ეს კინო ყოფილიყო რაღაცა ჩემი. So I was lucky because it was the beginning of 2000 and people was tired of all the filmmakers of the 80s and the 90s, because they became very academics. There was a cinema that was people, we had great times on the 60s, a little bit on the 70s, but then the 80s and 90s was full of horrible filmmakers, very, very academic, that they were doing films with a lot of money, because at that time inside the industry, there was a lot of money. So they developed, a style and a way of working very academic and very boring. And in fact, nowadays nobody remembers, any of these filmmakers of the 80s or the 90s. It's people that started before, some of the interesting ones, or that started after. But people that really grow up aesthetically in the 80s and the 90s as filmmakers, there is almost nobody interesting, except some Asian people, some people. But in the established countries, it was very boring. So then at the beginning of 2000, digital technology appeared, and he said, we can use it at home, we don't need anybody. Because, you have computers, hard disk, obviously at the beginning was very difficult and there was a lot of problems, edit suites, edit programs, and cameras, smaller cameras, you put the beginning was with cassettes, not cards yet, but you said, you have all these things, you can do it everything. Okay, now you did maybe some professional sound devices, but it's quite easy. And you can shoot a film. You can even do it, very easily. It's not difficult at all.
შემდეგ გაშავა ტექნოლოგიაო და კომპიუტერები გამოჩნდა, აპარატურა გამოჩნდა, ჩვენ მივხვდით, რომ შეგვიძლია სახშიც გავაკეთოთ კინო, ჩვენი ხმის ჩაწერას გართულდებოდა, მაგრამ კასეტებიც არსებობდა, შეგვიძლია შენით აიღო და გააკეთო კინო.
And said, why don't we try? This was and not only me, all around the world, because before, there was the concept that was the cinematography, the national cinematography. And every country, there was the Institute of Cinema giving funds, there was the public TV putting some money, and obviously all the filmmakers were inside this system, of the national cinematography. And in fact, when the people from the film festivals went were looking for films, they were going to the institute of every country to ask, which films do you have this year, or can you show me which films you have in the country? And there was the concept that if you were not inside this national cinematography that was in your own, and co-productions were not so common as they are nowadays. So it means that there was a normal and conventional power that was this industry inside the national cinematography.
ქონდა თავისი ეროვნული კინემატოგრაფი, ეს სისტემა, რომელსაც სასწავლებლები ქონდა ყოველას, რომელშიც თუ გაინტერესებდა კინო, უნდა მისულიყავი დადგმოდა და გეკითხა, აი ახლა რა ფილმები გაქვს და რა შეგვიძლია ვანახოთ და იყო ეს გარკვეული რაღაცა სისტემა და შენ არ ძნობდი თავს მის ნაწილად რაღაც განკერდოებული ეს კომერციული ფიგურა იყო.
But then obviously this changed, because if people like me picks up some camera and makes a film without any fund of the state, and I can arrive to finish the film, even if it's not perfect, the sound not perfect yet, you don't have the copy in 35 millimeters because it was shooted in digital, and after you had to blow up on 35 millimeters because there was no digital projection at that time. But even if you don't have the 35 millimeter copy, but you have shoot the film, you have edited, and you have a DVD, you can print the DVD, so you have a film. And this film has not been done inside the system of the national cinematography. So obviously the film festivals, for them at the beginning of 2000 started to be absurd to go to the institute of every country to look for films, because there were a lot of films that were appearing that were much more interesting, and they were not done inside any normal structure of production.
ინსტიტუციის ნაწილი, იმიტომ რომ არ იქიდან იგზავნებოდა უმეტესწილად ფესტივალებზე ფილმები და ისეთი პარალელურად არსებობდა უამრავი რეჟისორი და კინოხელვარი, რომელიც ქმნიდა უფრო ბევრად საინტერესო ფილმებს, მაგრამ ამ სისტემის ნაწილი არ იყო, ამიტომ ვერ უყურებდნენ. არსებობდა თუმცა DVD შეიძლება შეგეწერა ეს. თუმცა გააკვირვა ფილმი ხელზე, მაგრამ არავინ არ იცის მის შესახებ, იმიტომ რომ ამ ინსტიტუციის ნაწილი არ არის.
So if the festivals started to find films that were not inside the system, that were interesting, and started to show some of these films, and I am talking about important film festivals, Cannes, Venice, Berlin, big film festivals, then also the sellers, the big companies that buy films and then sell it all around the world, they also started to look these films, to buy it before a big film festival was showing the film, because the business was bigger, because you can buy it very cheap, because the filmmaker is not known, the film it's not expensive, and with this hope that the film will be in a big film festival, you can buy it very cheap to the filmmaker or to the small production company. So everybody started suddenly to look for films outside the traditional system.
კინოშემოქმედების და თუნდაც დიდი ფესტივალები, იქნება ბერლინის, კანის ფესტივალები, ან კერძო კომპანიები, რომლებიც შეისყიდიან და ინტერესს გამოაჩენენ ასეთი ფილმების მიმართ, იმიტომ რომ როდესაც არ არის ცნობილი რეჟისორი, მისგან უფრო მარტივია ეს, უფრო იაფადი კინო ეს ფილმი და შემდეგ იმედით ფესტივალზე ის გაიმარჯვებს და უფრო მეტ ფულს მოგიტანს. ამიტომ მასმა კომპანიებმა დაიწყეს ზუსტად ესეთი სისტემის გარეთ კინოს დებმა.
So a parallel wall, another official, non-official story of cinema started to grow up, and coming from unpredictable places. And it was at that time when Asian cinema, some Asian filmmakers were really discovered in Europe or in the US, and people coming from Africa, from the Middle East, Iran, all the Iranian filmmakers. Some of them obviously they were doing films since the 80s and very interesting films, but some others no. So everything started to mix. And this was possible because this film exists, because there was the digital technology that allows some filmmakers to shoot films, to finish films, and to show these films to the film festivals and to be discovered. And obviously this has evolved until nowadays, where all these people, these selectors, people that is looking for films in the big film festival, are very sophisticated people, and they really have a very good eye to see if there is a good film, to select it and to show it in the film festival. They develop new strategies, new vision to really recognize talent, in an unknown place or in an unknown filmmaker. What before was more difficult. So until the point that, for example, in this kind of masterclass, there is always some people that ask me, but I have a film, or when I have the film done, what I have to do, because the film will not be. And I always answer what is the truth. It's that if you have a good film nowadays, if you make a good film, it's impossible that it's not being discovered. It's literally impossible. You do a film nowadays and you show it to one film festival can miss it, or maybe you go to the wrong person, or that day the person that has to see the film has a bad day or put it quick, and but one but not 4 or 5. So this is a big advantage, because before it was not like this. If you are not inside the national cinematography, you didn't have any chance to be recognized or discovered, or your chances were very low. Now, if you make a good film, I can tell you, don't worry what will happen, because it will be discovered. It's 100% of chances that if the film is very good, it will be discovered and shown in a big film festival.
ის არ იქნეს შემჩნეული. შეიძლება ერთ ფესტივალზე წახვიდე და იქ პროდიუსერს უთხასიათზე იყო იმდრეს და რაღაც ერთი გამოტოვა, მაგრამ 2-ზე და 3-ზე და 4-ზე ვერ გამოტოვებ. თუ კარგი ფილმი, ის აუცილებლად იქნება შემჩნეული.
So the obsession is to make the good film, because there is no worries afterward. The film, for sure, it will be seen and it will be showed. And I know these people. I know some of the main selectors in the film festivals. They have very good taste and they have very good eye. So it's impossible. It's impossible for them to make a mistake. As I said, 1 people can make a mistake, but not 7 people can make the same mistake. So, and now it's very difficult and they are looking for new things. It's not like in the 80s or the 90s that people, they were all the time showing the same films. Now people, it's more, adventurous. And with digital, there is more information and nobody cares about anything. So the films are coming from everywhere, all around the world, and people, have the information very easily and cross, there is a lot of platforms, a lot of possibilities. We are in the best time ever for radical filmmakers.
სელექციაში ვინც არის ადამიანები, საკმაოდ ჭკვიანები არიან და თვალი აქვს, ისინი ყოველთვის ეგრევე რაღაცა ახალს, რაღაცა განსხვავებულს და მათ იციან თავისი საქმე და ეხლა 90-იანებში რომ იყო სუპერსტეიგ ფილმებს საჩვენებდნენ, იგივე არ ხდება, ყოველთვის ძიებაში არიან და ეხლა ციფრული ტექნოლოგიის ერაში რომ ვართ, ყველა მხრიდან, ყველა მთელი მსოფლიოდან მოდის ფილმები და ეს ადამიანები უყურებენ მათ და არჩევენ.
So this was a little bit the ambience at the beginning of 2000. This world started to grow up, and okay, we were there. I was there with my friends, as I explained at the beginning, and said, "Why don't we make a film?" This was the main, why we are in the summer, everything is boring. Why don't we make a film? And obviously, with the idea to make a feature film, not a short. Because it was, since, we had digital technology, it was totally absurd to make a short. Why do you make a short? I mean, you have the camera, you can shoot here 1 hour or 1 hour and a half, and we have a feature. Why you have to shoot 5 minutes or 10 minutes? It's the same price, it's everything, it's the same. There was no, and it's even easier to make a good feature than a good short. Because if you are talented in a feature, you can, you can play with the characters, you can, work with the actors. It's more normal and more simple. In 10 minutes, everything will be like abstract, and it's very difficult to create an atmosphere, inside the images only with 10 minutes. It will be like a visual or plastic or whatever, but to really create an atmosphere with characters, some kind of drama inside, an intense feeling. It's much more difficult when you have short time. Afterwards, because there was a commission of a museum or whoever, they said, let's do something, and we were quite well paid. And okay, you said, but we never thought that, we need to make a short to then afterwards make a feature, or, with the digital cameras, it takes the same, because, and this is another point, the money you spend is exactly the same, except for one detail. But you need the cameras, you need the light, you need the space, you need the actors, you need to eat. So all the expenses are almost the same. The only difference is maybe time, a little bit of time, that maybe you need a little bit more of time. But all the other expenses, if you want to shoot even a 1 minute film, you will need the cameras, you will need the light, you will need the place, you will need the people, you will need all the same things. So when you have all these things there, okay, yeah, you can spend 1 day more and you will have to pay a little bit more, or 2 days more, or whatever, but it's the same. It's a psychological approach, what it changed, that you will do an ambitious thing, that you will be, really focus on what you are doing, or you just want to shoot some images and make, a short of 5 minutes, or 3 minutes, or 10 minutes. And even for a bad filmmaker, it's easier to make a bad feature than a bad short. It's easier. So we were there and with this idea, and we started to think that this will be possible, that it was easy because we only need the cameras, and okay, at least we could make the film and finish a film with not a lot of money.
ჩავთვალეთ, რომ ეს მარტივი იქნებოდა და მარტის ედი რაოდენობის ფული და კამერა გქონდა, შეგვიძლია გავაკეთოთ ფილმი.
But of course, not a lot of money doesn't mean zero. You know, not a lot of money means that you need some money. And how to find this money? You know, this was the first thinking, because we said that we were at the end of this system of all this national cinematography, of the funding of public TV, blah blah blah, all these things. So you are out of this. You have the digital technology, but still, no. And I started to count, no, how will cost, you know, this feature, no.
და მოჩა პირველი აზრი რაც დაგვეჭდა იყო სად ვიშოვოთ ეს ფული. თუ არსებობდა ეს ნაციონალური ეროვნული ინსტიტუტი კინოსი, სადაც ფინანსდებოდა ყველაფერი, ტელევიზია და ყველაფერი, მაგრამ ჩვენ ამის გარეთ ვიყავით, ამ საშუალება არ ქონდა, რომ იქიდან ვიშოვოთ. ან დავიწყებთ დათვლა ისი თუ რამდენი თანხა დამჭირდებოდა მის ფილმის შესაქმნელად.
And I said, well, I make some calculations to do it, you know, because the point was that we have to spend some money for the shooting. This is the main thing. And then, as we can edit the film at home with the computer, we can finish the film, as I said before. We can have the film finished to show to the people. And if the film is good, okay, then we blow up. That was very expensive. We do the post-production. We blow up to 35 millimeter. We do the perfect sound mix. All these things are very expensive. But at least you already know if the film will be good or not, because the film you already have it, even if it's with the sound that it's not perfect, the image is not perfect, blah blah blah. But you have already the final film done. So if the film is good, you spend more money doing all these things, because you already know that the film festival or some film festival can already pick up the film, blah blah blah. And if it's not good, you only lose half of the money or less than half. Obviously, this was not possible before with 35, because with 35 you have to shoot, that it's already very expensive, you have to develop, the edit started to be possible on the computers, but was not possible yet. You have to go to a studio with the machine, so everything was very expensive. So to see the film, the final film, you have to spend almost all the money. So at that time, coming back from the beginning of the conversation, just to check if you were a good filmmaker, if you were talented or not, was not possible. You know, because it was too expensive. You have to finish a film that is already a big expense in 35. So to realize and to know how good you were, it was almost impossible. It was too risky. And for this reason, the system only gave this big amount of money to the reliable people. You know, the people that was already or had already done some shorts or came from film school, or I don't know. They need some guarantee, because to see if that guy made a good film, you have to do it until the end and expending all the money. So I calculate, what is the name of your currency here? Lari, sorry. I calculate that for the shooting, but the point was that if the film is good, you have the final film, but if it's good, then you have to do the good sound mix and the good blow up and the good post-production. So you need a basis of that the recording has to have some quality already, in case the film is good and it goes to the big film festival, and obviously the final finish of everything has to be top quality. So it means that, okay, you have to do a shooting that will be cheap, but it has to be done with maximum quality on the recording. This is on the camera, a little bit on the light if possible, and especially, very important, on the sound. Because the sound, then you cannot, if you have bad sound, it's very difficult to make it new, and it's impossible if you want direct sound, obviously. So at that time I calculate to have this good basis of sound and image, and to to end the film, to shoot it, to pay to try to pay, or people was working for free, some of them, but okay, all the expenses of the shooting will be around 130,000 lari. Around 130,000 lari, I calculate. It was 50,000 euro. Okay? So, and I said, well, but obviously, as I said, 50,000 euro or 130,000 lari, it's not zero. I mean, it's some money, no? And well, I decided to. I started to think to go inside the system will be impossible, because the system was prepared not to do these kind of things, and people will not understand, and they will never trust a film making digital. Making digital at that time it meant amateur. It means amateur, totally amateur. There was nobody, no funding will be for a film shooted in digital because this is amateur thing. And even when the film was finished, not only mine, but some other people like Pedro Costa, we used the same camera. And when some of these films were done and were in big film festivals, there is another filmmakers that were dismissing this, that were laughing because they said, no, this is amateur. Who is these people? This is amateur, other filmmakers. And then, 5 years later, they all end up shooting in digital. I can remember all the names of these people, and none of them now is doing films in 35. And for them this was amateur because you have the camera and you have a cassette and you spend 1 hour shooting the cassette and then another hour, and then because for them this was no professional, because it's like that you don't know what you are doing. It was like recording cassettes, hours and hours in cassettes, hours and hours. For them, this is amateur. But they have all disappeared, all of them. I mean, it's people that were coming from 80s and 90s, so they couldn't adapt. A lot of them, so they all disappeared. And the people that started later, with this open mind, with the digital technology, they are still alive. But okay, so we need 130,000 lari. No, this was at that point. The system was not able, not understand, because they said it's amateur, impossible. I said this is not possible, and there was another possibility that was to find the producer that already exists, and that this producer could find the money, I don't know where, but okay, they are producers. It represents that they are professionals, so try to convince a producer that with experience that this could be a nice film and that he should produce. And in fact, we try and we send the script and some ideas, some things we shoot before, just to convince to 30 people in the industry in Barcelona.
და მე იყო მეორე გზა, რომ გეპოვნა პროდიუსერი, რომელიც იშოვიდა ამ ფულს, არ ვიცი საიდან არის, მაგრამ იშოვიდა ამ ფულს და ამიტომაც გაუგზავნეთ ყოფილი 30 სხვადასხვა პროდიუსერი ბარსელონაში ეს ჩვენი სცენარი და რამდენიმე კადრი სადაც გადაღებული.
Yeah, I think we sent it to 35 people or something like that. 35 producers. And only two of them answered. And they said, thank you for this, we are not interested, or we will read it closely in the future, now we can. Only 2 of 35. I do just a parenthesis and to go a little bit forward, because when the film was finished, the film was already in the film festivals, just to finish the film, I make a deal with 2 co-producers to give them a small part in exchange of money to finish the film. And one of these fucking producers I give, that was producer afterwards giving some money with the film finished, because the film was already finished, but we need some money to do the post-production and all the, expensive things, was one we already sent the thing at the beginning and never answered. So, well, this is life.
და უკვე როდესაც დამთავრებული იყო ფილმი და ფესტივალზე ვაგზავნით და უბრალოდ სამთავრებლად პოსტპროდუქციისთვის გჭირდებოდა რაღაცა თანხაო, იპოვეთ 2 კოპროდიუსერი და ბედის ირონია, ერთ-ერთი მათგანი იყო სწორედ 55-დან ერთ-ერთი, რომელმაც არც კი უპასუხა.
Obviously, he didn't remember, or I don't know. He said that he never remembered that having received this, but he received it because we sent it. So. And he lose a lot of money because he was paying much more after the film, for just a small percentage of the film. He pay a lot. If he should have, be in the film at the beginning, he should have paid less for much bigger percentage. This I call bad organization inside a company, or stupidity, because there is no other reason. If he received it and read it and he didn't like it, he is stupid. And if he didn't receive it or didn't read it, it's that there is bad organization in the company. But okay, coming back, I will be back to this guy. I was there, so I need this 130,000 lei. So Larry, excuse me. And I said, okay, in the traditional system, producers didn't answer, so let's find the money where the money is. And the money where is? Not in the bank, because it's in the bank, but they will not give you because they do not trust, and it's too risky to finance films and amateur films or I don't know what. So it's on the bank, but we will not go to the bank, obviously. But we will go with real person with money in the pocket. So I visit some millionaires. I was born in the countryside in northeast of Spain, even if I was in the university in Barcelona, but still I was always, in my countryside in the weekends, and I knew a lot of people, and I thought it would be easier just to visit some millionaires of my area, even if I didn't know them personally, but okay, it was from the area, so maybe it will be, it will be easy access and easy conversation.
გაჭრისო.
So I visit 2 or 3, and well, there was 1, 3 or 4, I visit 4, and then there was 2 that were interested, and finally 1 was interested at the end, was a very nice guy, and because I proposed what I said at the beginning, you put 50,000 euro, more or less this, and if the film, 130,000 lari, and if the film is good, then you put another 50,000, another 100,000, 1,300 lari that I calculated will cost the post-production and everything. But if the film is not good, we will see it and you only lose the first 50,000, so you don't have to put a lot of money. No, with this idea in mind. And okay, he said, yes, because he was a very nice person that we were born. We discovered in the first conversation that we were born the same day. He was born 20 years before than me, the same day. He was a gay, a homosexual guy, no married. He was like with big companies, a millionaire, a lot of companies, and he was always a mécène. He was supporting a lot of painters and buying a lot of art, but he never thought that cinema could be an art or that could be involved in a cinema project, something that he never thought. But I sold the idea that there will be a film, with artistic ambition, that the goal was to go on big film festivals, and with this economical proposition of, only half of the money, and then if it was good, more money at the end, but with the film already finished.
თავიდან მივედიო, 4 ივნისს გააყოფით 4-იდან მივედიო, შემდეგ 2 დავაინტერესო და საბოლოო ჯამში ერთთან დავამყარეთ კავშირი, მე მათ შეთავაზებამ გავუკეთე ასეთი, რომ თავიდან შემოეტანათ მხოლოდ 9 თანხის 50,000 ევრო და თუ ფილმი გამოვიდა კარგი, კიდევ 50,000 დაემატებინათ თქვენ უკვე პროდუქციაზე და შემდეგ განვითარებაზე. და პირველად ძალიან კარგი ადამიანის გადავეყარე, რომ ის თან აღმოაჩინეთ, რომ ერთ-ერთი დღეს ვიყავით დაბადებულები, ის 20 წლით ადრე დაიბადა, შემდგომ ერთ-ერთი დღეს ხონდა დაბადების დღე, ბიზნესმენი იყო, საკმაოდ ბევრი სხვადასხვა ბიზნესი ჰქონდა, საკმაოდ ბევრი ფული ჰქონდა, ჰომოსექსუალი იყო, მაგრამ ყოველ შემთხვევაში ხელოვნებას ახამდეც დიდად უჭერდა მხარს, მაგრამ კინო არ მიაჩნდა იმ მომენტისთვის რაღაცა ხელოვნების ფორმატს. ვერ ხედავდა ამას. როდესაც მივედი და აუხსენიო სერიოზული მიზნებისთვის, ფესტივალისთვის, სჭირდება ეს და რაღაც განვითარებისთვის, თან გეგმას რომ შეთავაზე, რომ ჯერ პატარა თანხა შემოიტანე, 50,000 მისთვის არაფერი იყო, ცოტა დაკარგავდა, თუ არ გამყოფილი, თუ გამოვა, და გავაგზავნებ თანამშრომლობას.
So when he discovered the first conversation that we were born the same day, he said, we have to do something together, it's the destiny, it's really, because these people, it's a little bit, millionaires are a little bit eccentric and esoteric, and they believe in these kind of things, so he really thought that we had to make together. And okay, he said, yes, I am in it, so he said yes, and he said, I am in it, and then he said, well, but come back, in 1 week, and we discuss it again, but you can count on it, you want to be. Obviously, it's what happens also with millionaires. He was on it and it was very nice, but the second time I came to visit him to close the deal, I didn't talk with him. I talked with somebody else, They put me with, the numbers guy. And he said, yes, Albert, Luis, it's the name, Luis wants to do it and blah, blah, blah. It's very interesting. We will do it. Don't worry. But maybe you should put a little bit of money on your own too, because they wanted a little bit of a guarantee that was not just, that wanted really your personal involvement, and they wanted, a little bit, to have to be safe, it's very conservative people. So he said, you put a little bit money on your own. You don't need to put a lot of money, but just, I don't know, some money. Just to share a little bit, and we will create a company, and, we will be partners, and blah, blah, blah. And okay, and I said, yes, but I don't have money. So I cannot put money. And he said, well, maybe you can find money. I don't know, Well, this was the conversation, but I realized that I should find some money. So I said, well, I will find, and then I look for money with some friends, maybe, I don't know, maybe 20 friends or something like that, 15 friends, and everyone, gave me like 1,000 euro, that it's 2,500 lei. So at the very end, I got 30,000 euro, that is around 80,000 lei. Yeah. So, and we make the deal. So, and we decided we create a company, blah, blah, blah. And until now, he is my partner, you know. This film, we need to put some money, but, well, this is the sweet of the story, I will explain. But.
თავიდან როცა მივედი კიდევ თავიდან დავიწყე რომ მაინც ეს დღეს დაბადებულები რომ ვიყავითო ესე იგი ამან ძალიან აღაფრთოვან ეს ადამიანი ჩვენ აუცილებლად რაღაცა ერთად უნდა გავაკეთოთ და ძალიან ენთუზიაზმის ექსცენტრიულები არიან ეს მილიონერებიო ენთუზიაზმით წამოვიდაო და მოვილაპარაკეთ მაგრამ შემდეგ გადავწყვეტ რომ ერთი კვირის მერე კიდევ შევხვდით და გავაგზავნოთ დავამყაროთ ეს მოლაპარაკებაო და მაგრამ დამაკავშირეთ ამჯერად სხვა ტელეფონის ბუღალტერთან დამაკავშიროთ რაღაცასთან ჩემთან რომ შეიძლება სხვა ადამიანთან და მივედი რომ შემდგენდაო და მეუბნები რომ აი მოდი შეგვიძლია გავაკეთოთ და მეუბნები არა კარგია რომ ყველაფერი ის უნდაო ამის დაკეთებაო მაგრამ მაინც შენი მხრიდანაც ცოტა პული რომ შემოიტანო აჯობებსო რომ დარწმუნებული ვიყოთო რომ რაღაც ერთად ვაკეთებთ რაღაც საერთო ბიზნესი გქონდა პარტნიორები რომ ვიყოთო და მეუბნები რომ არ მაქვს პული რაღაცა იშოვე რა რომ ერთად გავაკეთოთ და მეგობრებთან 15-20 ადამიანიდან 1000 ევრო შევაგროვე საბოლოო ჯამში სადღაც 30000 ევრო შევაგროვეო და გავაკეთეთ ფილმებიო და დღესაც კი პარტნიორები ვართ მაგარი ადამიანი თუ რამე ფილმს ვიღებო ისიც დოში შემოწოვდეს.
But okay, then we arrive an agreement and he put this money, we put a small money and we shoot the film and well, we shoot the film. We finished the film, we edit at home. It was a long process because, as I will explain in the second hour today, the process of the shooting was very interesting and very complex, but with very particular things. But okay, now we skip this part. We finished the film, and well, we edited during 1 year and a half of edit, very complex edit. But at the end, we had a film that we really loved. You know, it was a very complex film and very interesting. And we started to show to some friends, some producers there in Barcelona, you know. But it was not just sending a script and say, I will make this film, blah, blah, blah. No, it was already showing a finished film. შემდეგ სადაც ერთ წელიწად ნახევარი მომვით ამ დამონტაჟებასო და შემდეგ ამ პოსტპროდუქციას მეორე საათს დავუწყობთ და ამაზე კიდევ ვისაუბრებთ, მაგრამ უყო შემთხვევაში გზა გქონდა ფილმიო და დავიწყეთ ამ ფილმის ჩვენება მეგობრებისთვის, პროდიუსერებისთვის და ახლა ეს უკვე აღარ იყო უბრალოდ პროექტის და სცენარის გაგზავნა, ეს იყო გზა ფილმი, რომელიც შეიძლება რომ გეჩვენებინა და წარდგენინა თავიდან. ძალიან შემიყვარდა ეს ფილმი, ამიტომ რომ რაღაცა რთული, კომპლექსური სურათი მივიღეთ, საინტერესო და ჩვენება დავიწყეთ. And at the same time, I said, why don't we submit to the film festivals, you know? And I knew that it was still, you know, some of the people were visiting, some of the people of Cannes Film Festival were visiting Spain, going to the Institute of Cinema to see films, okay? And I said, well, I will give the film to the Institute to show it to the people in Cannes, no? Not directly, because I thought that still, this has changed now. They don't go there now. But it was the last years where they were still going there to look for films. So I said, well, I send it to the institute and I say, I have done this film, I think it's interesting, maybe the people in Cannes will be. And they said, okay, we put it on the list and we will show it to them. And I was lucky again because, you know, the people in Madrid is very lazy people, you know. And by chance, the guy in Cannes was going there one day that was holidays. It was a day during the week, but that in France was not holidays, but in Spain was holidays. But obviously the guy didn't know. So he went to Spain that day to watch films, you know, prepared by the Institute, all the Spanish films he could see. And as the people were not prepared and was holidays and they were lazy and chaotic, they said, we don't have anything prepared because all the films were in 35 at that time. So there was no projectionist and it was complicated. And they said, we have here 1 or 2 films in DVD. No, because they couldn't call and the projectionist was a chaos. So they show my film first because it was almost the only one, this and another one, that was in DVD, that was not made in 35 millimeter, but was in DVD and there was no copy in 35 yet.
და ფილმი გადაწყვეტა რომ რატომაც არ გავაგზავნო ფესტივალზე. საერთოდ იმ დროისთვისო ბარსელონაში კინოს სკოლაში ხანდახან ჩამოდიოდი კანის ფესტივალიდან ადამიანები იმისთვის რომ ენახათ ფილმები და გადაწყვიტა რომ ნამდვილი პერიოდისთვის და ჩვენება უნდა მოეწყოთ და გადაწყვიტა რომ ჩემი ფილმიც მივიტანო ამ კინოსკოლაში და ჩემი სხვა ფილმებთან ერთად დავანახო და დაინტერესდნენ შეიტანეს პროგრამაში. და საერთოდ ის დღე ჩვენების დასვენების დღე იყო ესპანეთში და საფრანგეთიდან იყო ჩამოსული ის კანის ფესტივალის წევრი ერთ-ერთი რომელიც არ იცოდა ამის შესახებ ჩამოვიდა გამიმართლაო რა ამჯერადაც რომ ჩამოვიდა და ქაოსი იყო აბსოლუტური ყველა ფილმი 35 მმ-ზე არის მაგრამ პროექტორი არ ყო გარაფერები არ იყო ყველა პანიკაში იყო და იყო ორი ფილმი რომელიც იყო DVD-ზე და ერთ-ერთი იყო ჩემი იმიტომ გამიმართლაო და პირველი ჩემი ფილმი ნახაო ზუსტად იმ კანის პროექტზე.
So the first film that the guy of Cannes saw was mine, because and obviously he loved it and he saw it until the end and he really thought that was a great film, but because if he had seen the film maybe after 7 or 25 bullshit Spanish films in 35 millimeters, maybe he will be so tired and fucked that he can watch my film at the end and maybe he would have not liked or he will have missed it, after all this bullshit to see a film in DVD, but it was the first film he saw.
პირველი ფილმი იყო რომელიც მან ნახა, բայց და მოეწონაო, ისე ამონა ბოლომდე უყურა კიდეცო და ალბათ რომ ყოფილიყო ასე რომ არ მომხდარიყო და ყველა ეს იდიოტური ფილმი რომ ენახაო მანამდე და დაგიბრუნებოდაო და მე DVD-ს აყურებინებდნენო, ალბათ აღარ დაინტერესებდა ვეღარ ყურებდაო და ის არ მოეწონებოდა, მაგრამ გამიმართლაო.
And after I know the guy now because he explained it to me, all this thing obviously. And he saw this film, the whole film, because there were only another film ready in DVD and he had to wait, I don't know, in the afternoon or the day after to see the 35. And he said that this was the only one that he saw until the end. And because these people, I know these people of the selecting committees, and they start a film, and if they don't like or they see that it's not for them, or that they set another one, and they do not see the films, the whole thing. If they don't like at the beginning, they skip. In fact, there is a nice sentence with one of these guys that I was talking in a conversation, and somebody asked him how many, he's selecting, was the director of one film festival, I will not say which one, but he said, how many films you see? They show in competition 20 films. And he said, how many films you see per year to select these 20 films? And he said 20. Only the 20 they select, because all the other ones they skip, they only finish the films they select. It was a little bit of radical exaggeration, but the concept, it's good and it's there and it's true. It's very strange that I need to go until the end of a film to understand if it's good or not. It should be, it will surprise me a lot if myself I have to, to see the whole thing to really be convinced that it's good or that it's bad. Okay, maybe not. It's not only 5 minutes, but when you see 1 hour or you already know, you already smell what's going on there. I mean. So, okay, this guy loved the film, but obviously he was not the director of the festival. It's one of the selecting committee. Then they pick up the films they like and they bring it to Cannes, and some other people also watch the film and they decide, which films to select. And this was, they do not tell you that they have already seen your film and that it's good or whatever. No, they simply pick up the ones they like and they bring it to Paris and they start to watch it and discuss it with other people.
ეს ადამიანი, რომელსაც მისი ფილმი ნახა, ეს არის დირექტორი, ეს იყო შესარჩევი კომისიის წევრი, რომლებიც ეს ირჩევენ ფილმებს და ამგზავნიან შემდეგ კანში. ისინი არც კი გეუბნებიან ის ნახეს შენი ფილმი ბოლომდე მოეწონათ, არ მოეწონათ და რა ბოლომდე უყურებენ, აგროვებენ და ამგზავნიან, შემდეგ იქ განიხილავენ ერთმანეთში.
So I was in this process. This was in January 2006, January 2006, and well, I didn't know anything. I simply sent the film to the mirror. I sent the film to other film festivals. I was there, but the film, people in Barcelona, some producers liked the film. One distributor liked it a lot and wanted to make a deal to buy the rights of the film. And the other one, there was another producer that wanted to put some money to be part of the film because he really believed it will be a good film. And there were some other people, but okay. I didn't know what to do, but as we need the money because, I thought that it will be more expensive to finish the film and I really wanted the film to be finished. So I said yes. And we make a deal and they put more money in a change of 20% of the film each. Another producer 20% and the other 20% and I kept the 60%.
ასო გადავწყვეტე რომ გავაგზავნო ფესტივალზე, რაც კი ვიცოდი ვერცე გავაგზავნე, შემდეგ კიდევ წავიდა და მე ფილმის დამთავრება მინდოდა ამ ფესტივალისთვის ძალიანო, ამიტომ დავიწყე ბარსელონაში პროდიუსერების ძიებაო, აქედან ორი პროდიუსერი შემდგა, ერთმა გადაწყვეტა რომ უფლებები მიყიდოს საერთოდ ფილმზე და მოეწონა ფილმი, პროდიუსერებს ზოგადად მოეწონათო და მეორეს უნდოდა რომ ფილმის ნაწილი ყოფილიყო და ფული ჩაედო ამ ფილმში მონაწილეობა მიიღო. და იმენა რამდენად ძალიან მინდოდა ის დასრულებაო, დავთანხმდიო და დამისად ორმა პროდიუსერმა 20% შემოიტანეს, 60% ჩემგან იყო და ასე დავამთავრეთ ფილმი.
I would have never convinced these people to do the film on the script. Okay, they know the film is done. So for them it was easy to trust.
მაგრამ ეს უკვე დამთავრებული ფილმი ვანახე, მათთვის უფრო მარტივი იყო ნდობა და უფრო მარტივად წამოვიდნენ ამ.
But in this case I was very lucky in my life with a lot of things, but in this case I was not lucky at all because 1 week after or making the signature of this deal, I received the letter of Cannes that they invited the film. And I said, fuck, no. And I already have, sold 40% of the film because if the film was in Cannes, I would have found money anywhere and I would have had the whole film. I don't need these two stupids, to finish the film. So, but it was just for 1 fucking week, the letter arrived 1 week later.
საერთოდ სპორტში დამბრუნებაში გამიმართლა, მაგრამ ამ შემთხვევაში არ გამიმართლა, იმიტომ რომ როგორც კი ეს პროცედურა დაამყარა, ერთი კვირის მერე კანის ფესტივალიდან მომივიდა მოწვევა, რომ მიღებული არის ორი ფილმი და ეს ორი კვირის უარ ჭირდებოდა უყამავი. იქ რო ჩავსულიყავ, ისედაც ვიშოვდი პლუს ფილმის დასამთავრებლად. და მოგვეუბნო გამოწერა იყო.
Well, one is a nice person and I like him and it's not a stupid. Even if he was the one that received the script and never answered and never read it and nothing, but it's a nice guy and I did some other things with him afterwards. But the other one is an idiot and he still has to pay me 28,000 euros and I have a trial with the fucking guy.
სცენარი გაუგზავნე და წაუკითხავთ ის ადამიანი იყო, მაგრამ ეხლაც ხშირად გვაქვს, მეორეს აბსოლუტური იდიოტი იყო და იმ იდიოტს ჩემთვის ახლა 28,000 უნდა კიდე გადასახდებოდა.
But okay, this was another story. But I was not lucky just for 1 week. But it's another lesson that in life you cannot have everything because I was already very, very lucky until this point. So, a little bit of bad luck was okay too.
Następnie ერთი კვირა გამოვტოვა მარტო და ცოტა მიიღო გამოვდექიო, მაგრამ ოშემთხვევაში ეს იყო გაკვეთილი ჩემთვის, რომ ცხოვრებაში ყოველთვის ყველაფერს ვერ მიიღებ და ისედაც აკამდეს ბევრ რამეში გამიმართლა ამ მეტაპამდე რომ მივედი. So
the film obviously went to Cannes and was very successful then there. I was also lucky in some things in Cannes because people, didn't discover the film. Not a lot of people, but then some other people, because there is several screenings, and the last screening they were very important because they heard very important critics, they heard that the film was very good, so they tried to go to the last screening. And these important critics, French critics, like it a lot, and they wrote very nice reviews and big reviews in the biggest newspaper and magazines, and this created the success of the film, in fact.
No, ამგვარად საბოლოოში მაინც წავიდა ფილმი კანის ფესტივალზე და წარმატებასაც მიაღწია, იმიტომ რომ საკმაოდ მნიშვნელოვანია ხალხმა ნახაო. თავიდან შეიძლება იმდენად არა, მაგრამ ბოლო ჩვენებაზე მივიდანო, იმიტომ რომ გაიგეს რომ კარგი ფილმიაო, გაიგეს რომ კარგი ფილმიაო და სადაც რომ ბოლო ჩვენებაზე მაინც მისულიყვნენ და ფრანგმა კრიტიკოსებმა განსაკუთრებით ძალიან მოიწონესო და გაზეთებშიც გამოაქვეყნეს ამის რეცენზიები და წარმატებას მიაღწია ფილმმა.
And then, then everything was easier because, I was still with this partner, this millionaire. We won some prizes around, some of them with money, 30,000 euros. So with the money we won selling the film and everything, I pay back my friends, I pay back a little bit the millionaire, but we still, we keep the company and we are still partners. And, that from that moment, everything was easier.
ამ მომენტის შემდეგ ყველაფერი ძალიან მარტივად წავიდაო, ჩვენ და მილიონერმა ერთად გავყიდეთ ეს ფილმი, შემოსავალიც მივიღეთ, იმდენი რომ მეგობრებსაც დაუბრუნე, ამ მილიონერსაც გადაუხადე ის რაღაც მომცაო და ამის შემდეგ კომპანიას შევქმნით ერთად და მარტივად წავიდა ბევრად ყველაფერი.
And I was the only Spanish filmmaker in Cannes that year, so.
და მე ერთადერთი ესპანელი
So I was right when I thought that all the other Spanish filmmakers were idiots and that it will be easy, to make a living being filmmaker and not being a writer. I demonstrate that I was totally right. And apart from Almodóvar, that it's some case apart, because it's very famous, and he also came from the underground, so he never was part of the industry. But apart from him, that it's a special case, I have become the most famous filmmaker and the most prestigious in the film festivals all around the world. Almodóvar.
თუ არ შევხვდით ალმოდოვარს, ყველაზე პრესტიჟული ესპანელი კინორეჟისორი ვიყავი კანზეზე და ფესტივალებზე და საკმაოდ წარმატებული.
But as I said, this is another story that maybe tomorrow or I will explain that from that moment, it became easy and I became myself producer of the films, so just like this, and I had, and until now, except the last film that was impossible because of the financial crisis and a lot of things, that it's a pity also because it was my most successful film to date that made a lot of money, well not a lot, but for this kind of films, yeah, it's made money. That was The Death of Louis XIV. It's the only one I only produced, but I only had a small percentage. But all the other films I did, I always have more than 60 or 70% of the films. So I am a producer that also owns all his films, what it's not very common with filmmakers.
No, ამგვარად თუ ამის მე ყველაფერი მარტივად წავიდაო და მე გავხდი ასევე პროდიუსერი ჩემი საკუთარი ფილმებისო. გარდა უკანასკნელი ფილმისა უიმედოთმეტესი, სადაც ფინანსური კრიზისი იყო ქვეყანაში, ამიტომ ვერ მოხერხდაო და კომიტეტი და ფინანსური პროდიუსერის კომნა, მაგრამ თუმცა ყველაზე წარმატებული იყო და ასეთი ფილმისთვის საკმაოდ დიდი შემოსავალი კი მოიტანაო. მე ყოველთვის სადღაც 70% მაინც ფილმის თანხის ჩემი არისო და მე ვფლობ ყველა ჩემ ფილმს.
And now I end up being the president of the Association of the Producers in Catalonia. So imagine, just starting that I wanted to have fun to end up being the president of the producers. It's a long story.
So დავიწყე უბრალოდ ხალისის გულისთვისაც და ეხლა კატალონიის პროდიუსერების კომპანიის presidenti გავხდი, ესეთი გზა გამოვიდა.
But okay, this is also another story. But I mean that, then I did other films that were very successful, two of them more, totally three were also premiering Cannes Film Festival. Another one, and this is another lesson for life and for you filmmakers, just to, not being obsessed with this idea of success. Another one that it's called The Story of My Death, that it's my favorite film. I think that it's my best film and with more challenging things and blah, 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 that I really prefer. It was rejected in Cannes. it was rejected in Cannes. They didn't select it. I showed it to them, and they didn't want it to show it, so they said no.
შემაინც შეგიძლიათ მიაღწიოთ წარმატებას. მე ვფიქრობ, ჩემი ფილმებიდან ყველაზე უმეტესობა იყო წარმატებული, აქედან ორი უფრო წარმატებული, განზე ჰქონდათ მათ პრემიერა და მე ვფიქრობ, ჩემი საუკეთესო ფილმი, ჩემი სიკვდილის ისტორია არისო, რომელიც სამწუხაროდ უარყვეს კანში, უარყვეს, მაგრამ ბევრი გამოწვევა იყო ამ ფილმზე და ეს ჩემი ყველაზე საუკეთესო და საყვარელი ფილმია.
I was very sad when they said no, and because I considered it already at that time my best film, and really, really interesting. And then the film ended up in Locarno and won the Golden Leopard in Locarno. It is not bad because the price is 90,000 euros, around 150,000 lari. No, more. No, 200,000 lari.
ესპრესო, იმიტომ რომ მე იმაჩნდა რომ ეს ჩემი საუკეთესო ნამუშევარი იყო, მაგრამ შემდგომში მაინც ლოკარნოში გავაგზავნე და იქ ოქროს ლეოპარდი მიიღო და პირველ პრიზი 90,000 ევრო იყო და ლარებში მოგვიყვანა 200,000 ლარი იყო პრიზი.
Laf Diaz was president of the jury that year. Laf Diaz
იყო წელს ჯურის.
And it was okay, but then it was in the box office. It was also a failure everywhere. I mean, it's the less successful of all my films with the audience, but it's my best film. And obviously, it was recognized by some critics and as a very important film, but it was difficult for me. It was a little bit sad. That the people didn't understand this film, but then okay, I did another film and it was in official selection in Cannes. It's The Death of Louis XIV, and it was very happy and everybody liked it a lot, and it was it did a lot of people in France in the cinemas. Well, not a lot, but around 60,000 people. That for this kind of films it's a lot.
მოწენილი ვიყავ ძალიან რომ ვერ გაიგეს ადამიანები და თუმცა იყო რამდენიმე კრიტიკოსი რომელმაც მაინც მოიწონეს რა თქმა უნდა, მაგრამ იმ წელს წარმატებული აღმოჩნდა. თუმცა მომავალში უკვე შემდეგ ჯერ რომ გავაგზავნე, პირიქით დიდი წარმატებასაც მიაღწია და ფრანგ კრიტიკოსებთან განსაკუთრებით მოიწონეს ისო და ისო და 200,000 რაღაც ადამიანმა მაინც ნახაო, ძალიან დიდი წარმატება მსგავსი ფილმისთვის.
So until now, and now I am preparing new projects, but it's true that since the financial crisis, just to close all this talk, since the financial crisis, 2008, 2009, there is less money in the public funding, there is less money in the TV, and it's much more difficult to finance films now than at the beginning of 2000, before the financial crisis. So I was a little bit lucky, or not me, but all the filmmakers you mentioned, or some of them, we were a little bit lucky because we started at the beginning of digital. That was at the beginning of 2000, when this technology was available, and people started to be crazy and to select these films in the film festival. And there were some years until financial crisis that, this was really an open wall, and all these filmmakers appeared, and was really, really crazy times.
თუმცა ეხლა 2008 წლის შემდეგ ფინანსური კრიზისის გამო ნაკლებად ფინანსდებაო კინოინდუსტრია და ტელევიზიაში, საერთოდ ამ კინოში ნაკლები ფული იდებაო, მაგრამ მე ისევ გამიმართლაო, რომ ტალღაში ვიყავი, როგორც 2000 წლის მე, 2021 საუკუნის დასაწყისში, როდესაც ახალი იყო ეს ყველაფერი ციფრული კინო, მაშინ მომასწარიო, გამოჩენად ძალიან ბევრი რეჟისორი იმდროინდელი უკვე მოასწრეს თავისი კარიერის შექმნა და არჩენა საკუთარი თავის.
For the last film, for example, I only could find 150,000 euros in Spain. That I only had 20% of the production, and it was a French co-production and Portuguese co-production because I couldn't find more money. What was absurd because, I offered to the televisions and to everybody and they just give just a few money, but it was very successful. Then the film was in Cannes and it was the most successful, so people, it's not, nowadays it's very difficult.
No, televiziიაში არც ტელევიზიიდან არც ვერსაიდან ვერ მოახერხება ფინანსების პოვნა კრიზისის პირობებშიო და
In the past, you had a success and a successful film, and it was the guarantee that it will be easy for you to make the new film in good conditions. Now this is over too. With the financial crisis, with everything, it's more unpredictable and more difficult now on the finance of the films.
Ადრე უფრო მაინც იყო მართლა თუ კარგი ფილმი გაქვს, მეტი შანსი ქონდაო, რომ შემდეგი ფილმი დაგიფინანსდებოდაო, მაგრამ ახლა კრიზისის პირობებშიო, მაინც მნიშვნელობა რა კარგი ფილმი, ცუდი ფილმი, წარმატებული ფილმიც რო გქონდეს გადაღებულია, მაინც სრული არის ფინანსების მოძიება.
But okay, also it's good because as it's unpredictable, there is the open door to also crazy and unpredictable people and things. So I think it's better for you in some sense that if the film is good, it's, as I said at the beginning, impossible to be ignored. The film will be in a film festival for sure, bigger or smaller, but in a good one for sure. But at the same time, it's true that now it's a little bit more difficult to look for money, to have finance, and it's getting more complex because all the films are co-productions now. All the films that are in Cannes competition or in Venice, all except the American ones or the Anglo-Saxon, but all the others are co-production between 2 or 3 countries. So it's a little bit more difficult. All the films I did in the past, the first 2 were only production of Spain. After, all the other films has been with co-production with 2 or 3 countries, 3 countries.
თუმცა ამასაც არ თავის პლუსი უფრო რაღაც გიჟო და თავისებურ რაღაცებს აკეთებ, ხრიკებს იგონებ, რომ მოახერხო ფინანსების პოვნა და ეხლა უფრო ხშირად კოპროდუქციაზე გვიწევს წასვლა. ვარჯერ მაგალითად ჩემი პირველი 2 ფილმიო ესპანეთთან, ერთადერთი ფილმი იყო მარტო ესპანეთთან კოპროდუქციის, შიდა კოპროდუქციის და ეხლა გვიწევს ამ საფრანგეთთან ან სხვა ქვეყნებთან. კანის ფესტივალზეც უმეტესობა ფილმების არის კოპროდუქციის, გარდა ამერიკული და ანგლო-საქსონური.
But okay, it has been a long adventure during, from 2004 that we shoot this film until 2018, and we have seen a lot of changes, no? And I don't know, I am very optimistic. I am optimistic always, but I think that I am quite optimistic for what is a little bit disturbing nowadays. It's the audience that, young audience. It's a non-cultivated audience. So it's very difficult to work with these films when the younger generations are not interested because they are simply non-cultivated and they simply don't understand what these films. But at the same time, you do not rely on one country or 2 countries, or the audience. Now all these films spread all around the world, through internet, through film festivals, through some countries that still they buy these films. But, the audience, it's the whole world now. When 15 years ago, you have to sell the film in every territory and was tough and difficult and it was controlled. Now, okay, you can be a famous filmmaker, even if you don't sell a lot of tickets on the cinema. What in the 80s, in the 90s was not possible.
ახალგაზრდა აუდიტორია არის არაკულტივირებული, არ არიციან არის იმდენად კინო, მათ და დაინტერესებაც ნაკლები არის ამ ახალგაზრდობაში და საკმაოდ საწყენია, თუმცა ეს ის ნაკლები მნიშვნელოვანი ფაქტორია ჩემთვის ორგულო, იმიტომ რომ ახლა ყოველი საშუალება გაქვს, რომ მაინც გაავრცელო არა თქვა ფოკუსირებული იყო არა ერთ კონკრეტულ აუდიტორიაზე ქვეყანაში, არამედ შეგვიძლია მთელ მსოფლიოში გაავრცელო და სხვა ქვეყნებშიც გავრცელდეს შენი ფილმი და არა მოგიგო 80-იანებში რომ იყო რომ აუცილებლად გაგიყიდა ეს კინოთეატრებზე. ახლა რომცა გაიყიდოს კინოთეატრებში ბილეთები შენი ფილმი შეგვიძლია დისკები გაავრცელოს, შეგვიძლია ინტერნეტში და ფესტივალებზე მეტი საშუალებები არის რომ შენი ფილმი გაავრცელოს. იყო წარმატებული.
So now you know the end of the story, and I will explain you how, this is in concrete ways, how I did this first film and how I create my methodology to, achieve this all these things. And I think it's very interesting and very for you, to really describe in concrete my methodology. We'll make a pause of 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then 1 hour and a half more.
No, ეს იყო ჩემი პრეისტორია. ახლა კი უფრო ჩავუმავდები ტექნიკურად როგორ შევქმენი, როგორ გადავიღე ჩემი პირველი ფილმი, როგორ შევქმენი ჩემი ეს ტექნოლოგია და უფრო კეთების პროცესზე დავუწყდები და 5 წუთის შესვენების მერე.
And all my methodology, it's obviously you cannot deal with the shooting separately to other things, but okay, I will try to focus on this process, on this part of the process of making a film. As I said before, and it's true, and it will be very important, as you will see now, I decided to become filmmaker because I wanted to have fun. I think that there is not a lot of people that really the main reason at the beginning, the main root, the main idea behind their work in the filmmaking, it's to have fun.
ახლა დავიწყებ საუბარს გადაღებაზე, ეს ნაწილი დავუწყოთ გადაღებას, რეალურად და ჩემი მეთოდოლოგიასო, რეალურად ვერ გამოყოფ გადაღების პროცესს სხვა ეტაპებიდან, მაგრამ მაინც შევეცდებიო. და როგორც უკვე ადრე გითხარით, მე ჩემი თავარი მიზანი კინოში როდესაც დავიწყე არ იყო თქვა კინორეჟისორობა, არამედ იყო რომ სიამოვნება მიმეღო და გართობა მიმეღო ამ პროცესისგან. რაც საკმაოდ იშვიათი არის, ბევრი ადამიანი არ იცნობს კინოში მოღვაწეობას იმისთვის, რომ მათთვის გაერთოს.
And this will create a special methodology that slowly, gradually, but especially in this first film, where all the basis will be established, a methodology that will be a consequence of this. Because in my idea of filmmaking, a lot of decisions I will take during the shooting especially, it's because we want to have fun. Not even because we want to have a good film or because we want to have a professional film. It's just because we want to have fun.
პირველი ფილმიდანვე, სწორედ აქედან დაიწყო ჩემი მეთოდოლოგია, ამაზე დამყარებული არის მთელი ეს გადაღების პროცესი, რომ არა გავაკეთოთ კარგი ფილმი, არა გადავიღოთ კარგი კადრები, არამედ მივიღოთ სამიზნე სიამოვნება, ვიხალისოთ იმით, რასაც ვაკეთებთ.
So this playful side that was very important, I don't know, was for example very important for the avant-garde at the beginning of 20th century, Dadaism, Surrealism. It was very important also in rock and roll, or it's very important, from all the filmmaking of the 60s, for example, all the, but during the 80s and the 90s, because of the conventional and neo-academicism of the filmmaking, this was a little bit forgotten, because filmmakers take themselves really too seriously, they lost a little bit the spirit of the 60s, so during the 80s and 90s, was very, very sad times.
ძალიან მნიშვნელოვანი იყო თუნდაც მე საუბრობთ დასაწყისში ავანგარდისტებისთვის და დადაისტებისთვის და ეს შეიძლება 60-70-იანი წლების კინოში არსებობდა ეს სიამოვნების მიღება კინოსკეთებით. მაგრამ 80-90-იანი წლებში დაიკარგა და გადაიქცა რაღაცა რუტინად, კონვენციურ სტრუქტურად.
So with this digital technology at the beginning of 2000, we realized that this was again possible. In fact, it was to keep on with the dream of the filmmakers of the 60s, because in the 60s, that they started with the 16mm camera or Super 16 that was already very small and was portable, and you were able to shoot on the streets. Also with the portable sound devices, more portable sound devices were born in the 60s to really shoot in a more easy and fast way, for some of the, Nouvelle Vague or, all avant-garde cinema all around the world.
მაშინ 16 მმ კომპაქტური კამერა იყო და შეიძლება ქუჩაში გასულიყავი და გადაგეოდა ხმაც უფრო კომპაქტური და მობილური იყო და იყო მაშინაც ეს ავანგარდისტული სულისკვეთება არსებობდა და ახლა შევძლებთ დავიბრუნოთ ასე ვთქვათ ეს
So the digital, it's this, a prolongation of the dream of the 60s filmmakers, of the 16mm, but in a very, very radical way. And in, you know, that makes things really, really easier. And I don't know, this, obviously I was aware of this, no? That this technology will be easy. But I didn't know until which point, you know, it will change the way we think and we make films. Obviously, when you have a 35mm camera, okay, what happens? You know, it's a very heavy camera, has a lot of, just a few deep focus. It means that, you know, everything has to be very fixed, because if you move, you get out of focus. No, for this reason, in the shootings in 35, they've put even marks on the floor for the actors, because if they separate, you know, they will be out of focus. So the focus is very, very thin because of the optics of 35. So the camera, it's very heavy, you know, you need a lot of people, you need people to make the focus, to put the focus, that it's very, very thin. Then you need a lot of light, because the sensibility of the film stock, it's very low, so it means that you need a lot of light, artificial light around. It means also that the magazine, you know, the film stock inside, in 35 was around all the time 3 minutes maximum. You have to change the magazine every 3 minutes or 5 minutes. Then with 16 was already 10 or 10 or 12, and then at the very end there was with Super 16 that maybe you could shoot 15 minutes, you know, with the film stock without changing the magazine. But it means that it's complicated, you know, just shooting 3 minutes or 4 minutes, heavy camera, a lot of light, no movement on the actors, because if not they are out of focus. So it was logical for these filmmakers in shooting in 35 that they should prepare and they should think the film in shots, and that they were there preparing shots. So it means that for them it was very normal, you know, we prepare one shot and then we think the next shot, no, that, you know, the meaning of what we are doing, you know, matches, and then another shot, and then we move the lights and we put the focus, and you know, we change the magazine, and all the film in the mind of the director was shots, one shot behind the other, and then in the edit we will have these shots one next to other, and this will create a film. So it means that it's technically problematic and it's boring. It's very boring to shoot this film, because you spent 90% of your time preparing the shot, you know, with the fucking lights, the camera, changing the magazine, you know, making focus, you know. So 90% of the time you spent on the set, you're just waiting that these technicians prepare all these things, and then you shoot 2 minutes, and then you spend 2 hours more or 3 hours more to shoot 2 minutes more.
ამ ტექნიკური პრობლემების გამო ძალიან მოსაწყენი გახდა ეს პროცესი, იმიტომ რომ თითქმის გადაღებების 90% ეკავა კადრისთვის მომზადებას, იქნება ეს განათების დაყენება, ფოკუსის გასწორება და ასე შემდეგ. 2 საათი ემზადები, შემდეგ 2 წუთი რაღაცას გადაიმერებ, მერე შეცვალო ეს პირი, ისევ და მოსაწყენი ხდებოდა ეს პროცესი აბსოლუტურად.
It's like working in a factory. It's even worse.
ესენი გავხდებოდა მაშინ ქარხანაში, ქარხანულ რაღაც მუშაობა.
But digital, and how can you have fun with inside this system? It's impossible because it's super boring and it's all the time technical problem and solving one and another. It's like a simple, a normal factory of making products. I mean, it's horrible.
სიტუაციაში როგორ შეიძლება მიიღოს სიამოვნება ამ პროცესით, თუმცა მარტო ტექნიკური პრობლემი და მეორე ტექნიკური პრობლემია და რაღაცა ქარხანასავის მუშაობაში შეუძლებელი იყოს სიამოვნების მიღება პროცესიდან.
Obviously, I would have never been filmmaker without digital. Never. I would have never think to be filmmaker without digital technology.
ციფრული ტექნოლოგია რომ არ გამოჩენილიყო, ალბათ არასდროს არ გავხდებოდიო მე კინოხელოვანი და რეჟისორი.
But then what happens with digital technology at the beginning with the small cameras that you could buy, I don't know, for 3,000 euro at the beginning, all these fucking problems were miraculously solved. You had a cassette that you could shoot during 1 hour. With a small cassette. Nowadays you can shoot in cards, 2 hours or 3 hours or even more. It depends on the quality. The camera was very light, so it was very easy to move and to change and to do whatever you want. Deep focus was very high in the optics of digital. So it means that you can be in focus and the girl can be in focus, and I can have focus on almost all this, almost all this room, and you will all be in focus. So the freedom from the actors of moving and doing whatever they want, it's greater. It's greater. You cannot even compare it. You don't need a lot of light because the sensibility of the optics is higher. So you don't need, obviously you always need light, and this will be always problematic. But you don't need big lights that need a generator, and I don't know, all these typical things of 35. So it means that everything was very, very easy.
ეს ტექნიკური პრობლემები ხდებოდა, იმიტომ რომ სუბუქი პატარა კამერა, რომელიც არის კასეტა, რომელიც შეუძლია 1 საათის განმავლობაში ჩაწეროს რაღაც სამწუთიანი კადრი, ასე ღრმა ფოკუსი იყო, თქვათ მაგალითად წინ აუდიტორიაში რომ გადაიღო წინ ზომი ადამიანის შეიძლება ფოკუსი იყოს, უკან ზომი ადამიანის და ის იქით, ღრმა ფოკუსი არის, საშუალებას იძლევა რომ მსახიობი იმოძრაოს და გააკეთოს ის რაც მას უნდა. ასე არ ჭირდება ზედმეტი ტექნოლოგია, როგორია მაგალითად განათებისთვის გენერატორები და ასე შემდეგ ძალიან რაოდენობის განათებაც აღარ ჭირდება, იმიტომ რომ ციფრული კამერის გრძნობელობა βέβαια უფრო დიდი არის.
So it means that I don't have to prepare shots. And in my mind as a filmmaker, the main unity will not be the shot anymore. The main unity will be already the scene, because we can shoot a whole scene, during 1 hour, for example, without a stop. And we can use several cameras because it's not expensive at all. So we can, prepare the things in a very, easy and very crazy way, and we will have nice images, but not having to stop and to think what we will shoot. You don't need to know what you want to shoot.
ეს პრობლემაა, რომ ყოველთვის ჭირდება ძალიან დიდი დრო იმის მოამზადო კადრი. აღარ ამზადებ კადრს, ის ერთობა, რომელსაც შენ ფიქრობ, ეს არის არა კადრი, არამედ სცენა. შენ მოდიხარ აყენებ, შეგვიძლია ვიზუალური რაღაცები მოიფიქრო, გააკეთო და შენ არ უნდა ვფიქრო იმაზე რა გინდა რომ ანახო კადრში, შენ უბრალოდ გააკეთო.
In fact, I don't know what I am shooting. When I decide to put the people there, but I don't know what we will do, what will happen, what will be the meanings, that will spread out of the image. This I don't know at all, and if I knew, it will be very boring. It will not be interesting, not funny, But if you were doing the film in 35, as you have to prepare the shot, you have to know what to put in the shot because nothing can change. And obviously, you have to think about the meaning of what you are doing, because it's a very concrete thing and a very, very small thing, 2 minutes, and with a very concrete, elements inside the shot. But not for me.
წინასწარ გაცვლა იმის თუ რა გინდა აჩვენო აი ამ გამოსახულებით და რას წარმოიღოთ რა მნიშვნელობას წარმოიღოთ ეს გამოსახულება ჩემთვის არის რომ მოსაწყენიო. როდესაც ამ მოწუთიანი რაღაც შოები გაქვს და 25 მმ-იანი ვიღა და წინასწარ უნდა იტეხო თავი იმაზე თუ აი რა კონკრეტულად თითოეული დეტალი რას უნდა ნიშნავდეს ამ კადრში. და დიდი მნიშვნელობა პატარაში რომ ჩაადიო. ჩემთვის ეს არ არის საინტერესო.
The camera is doing the job for you. And this is really fascinating. And in fact, I decided to become a filmmaker because of this mystery. I was, for example, just to understand this concept, I was, for example, one Saturday night with some friends and, it's one of these days that everything is very funny and people, it's inspired and the conversation and I don't know, somebody, some days this happened, that night you remember because everybody was in the good mood and, was very, I don't know, the ambience was really different. That it's, a night that is really magic, and when it ends, you said, oh, it's like a dream, It's like being in love, only 2 people, but not 2 people, it's a collective thing, that you are with the friends at that day, I don't know, some magic happened, some good atmosphere there, it's there, it really. We all have lived this, maybe it happens once a year or twice a year or, it's not. But then you are with the same people, in the same place, for example, some other days, some other Saturdays, and this magic doesn't appear. But from the outside, visually, it's the same. Because it's the same people, the same place, having the same conversations. Apparently, from the outside, there is no difference in this magic day or another Saturday with the same people in the same place with the same conversations, from the outside. But in our mind, psychologically, the difference between this magic day and the day that it's the same, the Saturday after or another Saturday with the same people, in our mind, the difference psychologically, it's huge, it's enormous of the perception of the magic and of the pleasure of these 2 nights that are very similar from the outside. So my question when I experienced this at the beginning also, when we started to want the film, to shoot the film, and I was deciding to become a filmmaker, my question was simple. When I lived one of these moments and I said, will the camera be able to record, this magic without making an interpretation of it? This is without the mise en scène. Will the camera itself, alone, be able to capture this magic and to really, show us the difference between these 2 days? Visually are the same from the outside. Same people, same conversation, same place, but It's very different. But we'll be able, the camera alone, without my help of, selecting which conversations, which faces, which answers, which, just the camera there, we'll be able to really capture this magic alone. Do I have to select, to underline, which are the best sentence of that night, which are the best faces, the best costume? Do I have to select it just to make it understandable, or without selecting anything, it will be, this will be obvious, afterwards?
ვალდებული ვარ, რომ აღიჩიო იმ საღამოდან რაღაც და ხაზგასმით ყველაზე საუკეთესო ფრაზები, ყველაზე ლამაზი რეპლიკები და ის შევკრიბოდა ის დავიქ, რომ ამ კამერამ შეძლო სამჯეროდ დაფიქსირება? Because this changed everything. Because with the digital technology, the camera can capture this in a quite, precise way. Because as I said, there is the focus and people can move and just can be there, quite alone. And if this magic is in front of it, it will, I thought that it will appear, no? It has to be recorded in some way. But of course, this magic in 35, it will be impossible to capture without some decisions. First of all, because if it's a magic night and there is only 3 minutes in the magazine, then we have to stop. And this magic, you cannot create it artificially and stop and now do it again, just because we have to change the magazine, the film stock. So, or if somebody moves a little bit, we will not see him. Or I don't know, if the light is a little bit lower, you don't see anything. Or, but the main thing that you have to stop the magic just because you have to change the magazine and you can only shoot 3 minutes or 5 minutes, It's obvious that the 35mm camera, paradoxically, it's less sensitive to the real magic of what it has in front of it. But I was convinced that the digital camera maybe was able to record it, because they don't need to stop, people don't need to do anything special for the camera. Just, if the magic is there, maybe the digital camera will record it. It's sure that the 35mm camera will not record it. So you don't need any skill of a filmmaker. You don't need anything. You only need one thing, that it's the magic is there. It means that the inspiration is in the mind or in the eyes of the people in front of the camera. But anything else, you don't need to study cinema. You don't need any kind of idea of mise en scène. You don't need anything. If the digital camera, we suppose, as I said, that will be able to record this magic, why do you just have to worry that this magic is there in the eyes of the people or in the eyes on the mind of the people in front of the camera? Anything else? ჯადო, ასე ვთქვათ, შექმნა ეს მომენტი და იმ ადამიანების თვალებში ან მონებაში უნდა იყოს ეს შთაგონება და მორჩა მეტერფი არ ჭირდება კამერა დააფიქსირებს ამას არ არის აუცილებელი.
So all your fucking ideas of what you want to do, they are totally useless. You know, it doesn't work with this thing. I mean, it was Godard who said, there is two kinds of filmmakers. The ones that shoot with the camera, and this is the ones that are worried of what is in front of the camera, and the ones that shoot with the projector. You know, this is that they have some ideas in mind and they project, you know, these ideas. They have these ideas behind the camera and they project it. But the projector doesn't record. So it means that you have to be really, as a filmmaker, more aware of what is in front of the camera, not what is in your mind, you know, behind the camera.
ზოგი იღებს კამერით და ზოგი იღებს პროექტორით. თავში არის ჩამონტაჟებული პროექტორი, რაღაც თავისი იდეები აქვს და ცდილობს ამ იდეების პროექცირებას შემდგომში კინოში, მაგრამ პროექტორი ვერ იღებს, პროექტორი პროექცირებს უბრალოდ, ამიტომ უნდა ფიქროს რომ იმაზე რა გააქვს შენ კამერის წინ ამ მომენტში.
So it means that, I mean, okay, when you were preparing the shots, you have to fill in the shot with something and some ideas, with some concrete elements. So you were projecting these ideas and you have to prepare it, and every shot, you know, it's prepared. So you have to have these ideas and we will put it here because it has no sense to simply shoot whatever because, you know, it's only 3 minutes, it's dark, whatever, people cannot, so you will never capture any kind of magic in 3 minutes, you know, it's quite logical.
როდესაც შენ კადრი, შენ ფიქრობ იმაზე, რითი შინავსო ეს კადრი, რა შინაარსი ჩადო, რა ფორმა მისცე ამ ყველაფერს და შენ ვერ შექმნი ამ უზენაი ჯადოსნობას ამ 3 წუთის განმავლობაში, ხო? შეზღუდული ხარ, ამიტომ ვცდილობ აი ამ ერთ კადრში ჩასვა ყველაფერი და ეს მოამზადო და მოიფიქრო.
But with the camera of the digital small camera, if this magic is there, as I said, maybe can record it the camera. So you will have, you know, this magic in a pure, very pure way. I mean, you know, it's untouched. You know, it's really magic that has not been touched by the dirty hands of the filmmaker. So for me, this was quite obvious. So for me, I decided to become a filmmaker because of this, because I thought that we just have to have fun in front of the camera, the technique is very easy, and everything is done. The camera will record it, and that's all. So I create a system that was, you know, only focused with this idea, that how to create this magic. This magic we will call inspiration in the actors. Just, you know, this idea of inspiration, that an artist has inspiration, or I don't know, no, a musician one day is inspired and plays better music. So then, you know, there is inspiration also on the actors, moments that you can not, you know, create artificially, and that it's, well, it's very difficult to have it regularly. Why to use professional actors? It's absurd. The professional actors were people created by the system, by this system of 35 millimeter that you have to prepare shot and everybody's waiting, and then there is 2 minutes or 3 minutes that, you know, this actor theoretically will come here and will be able to deliver artificially something that is more or less closer to this real and pure magic. He will be able to perform something that could remind us, you know, a little bit this magic. And he's a professional because he's able to wait, and when everything is ready, magically, create this magic in front of the camera when it's needed. And I agree, normal people is not able to do this, but professional actors neither. It's simply a simulation of this, but it's not this. So for me this was evident. I mean, it was a totally evident thing. And when you realize that this magic, if it's there, the camera can record it quite easily. You only need the magic, and you need a lot of time, and you don't need a professional actor. We all have experienced this magic that I explained, in Saturday night, or even being in love. People when somebody is in love, they have a different intensity on the eyes. They have different reactions, and it's a normal person. I mean, it's not a professional actor, simulating this. So then I said, well, my main issue is to create this magic. My main job is to create this magic in front of the camera. I don't need, to think anything else. And obviously, this changed everything because, you forget about all the other things that were annoying, that were disturbing, that were ridiculous, all the technique. And suddenly, magically, all the technique was on service of the actors, and not the opposite. The actors were not there to serve the technique, but the technique was ready. So until now, the problem is more or less solved, because you don't need to be professional skills to be filmmaker. The camera will record it. It's a digital camera. It's easy and it's done. You can be a great filmmaker without any kind of knowledge. In a way, the mise-en-scène will be naturally, will spread naturally in your idea of following to record this magic, and it will create, a natural mise-en-scène as a result of just simply following or looking for this magic. And as I said, you don't need to do anything. I don't know what I am doing when I am shooting. I don't know what I am looking for. Obviously, I prepare some things because there is a set and there is a script, more or less. But even if I don't follow the script, this I will explain how I work. But I don't need to do anything. It's I need to know one thing that is the important thing. So if you don't have to do anything behind the camera, if you don't have to think anything behind, because there is no ideas to think, there is nothing to, there is nothing to discuss behind. No, you cannot project anything. So you have only one problem, that it's a big problem. It's to create, how to recreate, not recreate, create, recreate, or produce, reproduce this magic in front of the camera. This is the only worry. Of course, this is a very difficult question to answer. We know the problem, we know the solution, but how to arrive to this point, it's not so easy. Because, as we understand, we all understand, it's a difficult thing. Because if we manipulate too much, this magic, as if we were in 35, this magic, we try to think, what is the characteristic of this magic, and we try to think, let's put it there, let's try to create some ambience. If we manipulate too much, if we touch this too much, it's counterproductive, because you cannot manipulate, because the risk is to kill the moment, or even not creating it, is to make it too artificial, to make it, like bad actors. Have you ever seen a bad actor? What is a bad actor? A bad actor is somebody that's trying to emulate or simulate or reproduce something, and you'd see that there is a gap in between what he's trying to pretending to reproduce and what is the effect of the production of this should create on you. Well. So we all understand that we cannot touch it a lot, because if we touch it, it will create this gap. This gap will appear, It's like a magic that we all more or less agree, or we understand, that has to be created naturally, has to appear naturally, because if not, it can sound fake. We can see that it's not so intense as it's in real life. So, there is obviously, you have to create it, because will not appear. We cannot be waiting here during the whole year just to, this magic appear once a year or whatever, No, you have to stimulate, you have to push a little bit. But then, in which form this magic has to appear, we don't know, because if we already know, we will be creating it artificial or manipulating too much, and probably we will see this gap and it will be fake. So, I created a methodology based on this idea, to try to push to create this magic, but not to interfere in order that this magic, it's too artificial or it's not so, doesn't appear naturally. And for example, there was obvious choices. For example, as we don't know from where this magic will appear, it's better to have 3 cameras than 1. Because we can focus on several aspects of the things that we have in front, and maybe this magic, maybe this day, the guy that is inspired, it's you. Or maybe no, maybe that moment it's you. Or maybe it's the connection between you and you. Or maybe you never know. So, to have 3 cameras, it was from the beginning better than 1. From this point of view, to try to capture this magic in case it appears, and try to capture as nicely as possible, or as deeply as possible.
შეიძლება შეგონებული ისანის ყვანტო ჯობია ქონდეს სამი კამერა რომ ყველა დაზღვეული ქონდეს ყველა კუთხე და როდესაც თქვა აი აქ გაჩნდება რაღაც ნაბეჭდავი ის დააფიქსირო თუ აქედან გაჩნდება მეორე კუთხიდან დააფიქსირო.
And you will say, and why not 10 cameras? You know, it will be even... No, because it's simply counterproductive, because it's too chaotic, and the cameras are useless, you know, one to another. So I realized that on the level of, you know, conceptual approach to mise en scène, 3 cameras was the best setup. Because this magic appeared, but also, you know, you have to see that this magic has appeared. And to have 10 cameras, it's more difficult because, you know, how to say, you need, you know, this magic, it's something about the space, you know. It's very difficult to explain. When you have one camera, the actor, you know, knows where is the camera and more or less knows that the camera is shooting something, and probably the actor knows what is shooting, if the value of the shot is a general shot or it's a close-up, or, you know. So inevitably, when you have one camera, it's normal that as the people that is in front of the camera, we will call them actors, professional or non-professional, will have the tendency to show something to the camera. No? Because I know that this camera is here, I will always know psychologically. So it means that I will deliver, I will want to deliver something to the camera. Inevitably, it's psychological, you know. So there is a direction and there is already some kind of meaning, you know, appearing, because I know that this camera is shooting me. If I have 3, you know, one here, and one here, you know, I don't know where I have to say something. I will know that, and then, you know, you became more introspective because you don't have nothing concrete to deliver because there is 2 cameras in different sides. You don't know exactly what to deliver, and because you don't know what will be in the final edit, and because, you know, it's already, you know, almost 360 degrees around you shooting. So you cannot be focused in all places. No? You start to be more introspective. You try to, all the things you were trying to give as an actor, or all this magic you were trying to create, it's not superficial, it's not external, because there is no possibility to communicate it easily to one camera. Then, if we have 10, you know, you lose intensity. Because you know that everything is recorded. So, in a sense, you lose because you trust too much the camera. You know, because you will think that it doesn't matter what you do, that if the magic is there, one camera will record it. And it's not, and this relaxes you as an actor. So I discovered that with 3 cameras, you know, the 360 degrees appears. So, more or less, or not 360, but I don't know, 200 and whatever, then you became a little bit introspective, but you keep the intensity of not, you know, trusting absolutely that everything is recorded. So, there is a tension between you and between what is around you still. Because, obviously, there is some pressure. You are there as an actor, so you have to put the magic. It's your fucking responsibility because you are in front of the camera, so do something interesting, please. If not, I will do it myself, and I will pay myself as an actor. You know why I pay you? Why I want an actor? And I don't do it myself. It's because he will give something I don't know. He will give to the camera something I have not seen before. If not, I will not pay you to do what I want to do. Or I will do it myself. Well, I don't know if you can translate this, okay? You understand a little bit, but you try to translate.
იმ კამერაზე თამაშობ, იქ არის მიმართული, ექსტერნული გარეთ გამოხატულია ეს მისი თამაში. როდესაც მას აქვს სამი კამერა, რომელიც სხვადასხვა გადასიღება ახლო იქნება, შორი ხედით რა მნიშვნელობა არა, შენ წინ არის 60 გრადუსი, ან 200 რაღაც დაახლოებით გრადუსის სივრცე და შენ უკვე არის რომელი მხრიდან ანუ არ გაქვს კონკრეტული რაღაც წერტილი, საიდანაც მიმართავ ამას, შენი თამაში და ეს მომენტი შიგნით გადადის, ანუ შინაგანად მიდის პროცესი უკვე მუშაობის, მაგრამ ფოკუსირებას მაინც არ კარგავს, შინაგანად გაქვს ეს ფოკუსი. როდესაც 10 კამერაა, შენ ნამეტანი ენდობი კამერას, ვიცი, 10 კამერა არ თუ შევქმნი რაღაც ჯადოს მომენტს, რომელიღაცა მაინც დაიჭერს და ნამეტანი ეშვები და დუმდები ამის გამო და ენდობი ტექნიკას. მაგრამ როდესაც 3 კამერაა, მაინც რჩები ფოკუსირებული, მაინც გარკვეული დონეზე დაძაბულობა რჩება, მაგრამ შინაგანად მიდის ფოკუსი და შენ ქმნი ამას. ამავე დროს ბოლო ნაწილში რაც თქვა, რომ შენ ხარ მსახიობი, მე იმის ვიხდი, რომ შექმნა ეს ჯადოსნური მომენტი, ამიტომ ვიმუშავებ, ხო, გავაკეთე რაღაც საინტერესო თუ არა, მე თვითონ გავაკეთე. მაგრამ იმიტომ არ ვაკეთებ მე, რომ მე არ გამიცდია ეს, შენ გამიცდია და მე მინდა რომ შენ აიღო და დადო ეს performance.
So the 3 cameras, because you know that there is 3, put you the pressure, put you similar pressure than the 1 camera, because you know that there is some different, you cannot be on the 3 at the same time, but there is, this inquisitive, power of the camera to put some pressure on you. But at the same time, it doesn't oblige you to give a concrete meaning to them, because you don't know what they are shooting and how you could deliver this concrete meaning to one of them. Because if you do it to one of them, why do we have 3 cameras? I mean, I will say to the actor that it's an idiot, no? Because if he's talking for 1 camera, we don't need. So he has to really feel this pressure of being there, but not until the point of creating compulsively some meaning to 1 camera.
ანუ როდესაც ერთი კამერა არის, შენ რაღაცა შინაგანად ფოტოგრაფიულად განწყობილი ხარ და ვალდებულებას უცნობ, რომ ამ კამერის მიმართ ვითამაშო. როდესაც 3 კამერა გაქვს, შენ რომელიმე კონკრეტული კამერის თვის თამაშზე არ ხარ ფოკუსირებული, შენ არ იცი რომელი ჩაწერს, ხო? ანუ იმიტომ რომ სახიობი რომელიმე ერთი კამერისთვის ლაპარაკობს, ამას არ აღვწაო. ანუ 3 კამერა ჯერ კიდევ იმ ზღვაზე არის, და შენ ინარჩუნებ გარკვეულ ზეწოლას, იმისგან რომ აი კამერა მიიღებს და აი აქ არის. მაგრამ არ არის რაღაცა ეს წერტილში გაქვს, სივრცე რაღაცა, ეგნაც ეს ზეწოლა მოდის.
Of course, this was a good decision to try to create this magic without interfering a lot. I thought that the 3 cameras was the best decision.
აქედან გამომდინარე, გადავწყვიტე, რომ ეს კარგი იდეა იყო, რომ გამოვიყენეს 3 კამერა და ამესახა ხელის ჩაურევლად აი ამ ჯადოსნობაში ამესახა ეს ჯადო.
Another easy decision was to, for example, not to use monitor, the TV, a combo, to check the images, I have never seen 1 single image of my film before the end of the shooting. Because if this magic has to appear in itself, and it's a subtle thing, and we have this problem that we don't know still, as you remember, if the digital camera will be able to record or not this magic, which is the sense to have a monitor and to try to push it or try to judge if this magic is there or not. It's absurd, and you will react artificially to something you cannot evaluate on real time, because it's a matter of experience. This magic has to be created, but we don't know exactly when the magic is there. And this Saturday night, it's a global thing. It's not that this is magic and now magic has stopped and now it comes again, or now it's magic this element that you do and this is not magic. No, it's a global sensation of the atmosphere of that moment that was magic. And in your psychology, this is very a strong belief that this magic was there. But it's not based in concrete elements that you can analyze in real time.
და ეს იდეა იმაზე დაფუძნებული, როდესაც ეს რაღაც ჯადოსნობა ხდება საერთოდ ხო შენ ისე შეიგრძნო და შენ თვითონ გაიცადო და დაინახო და არა თქვათ ჩვენ 100% არის შეუძლია თუ არა ხო ამ ციფრულ ტექნოლოგიაზე მასახოს ის მომენტი არის როდესაც შენ უყურებ ამას ეკრანზე შენ ცდილობ იქ იპოვო რაღაცა რაც შეიძლება არ ყოფილიყო ჯადოსნობა და რაღაც დეტალებზე ფოკუსირდება ნიჭი რომ გამოიწვიო და პროვოცირება მოახდინო ამ რაღაც ჯადოსნური მომენტის მაგრამ ამავე დროს შენ არ იცი და არის ის თუ არა სინამდვილეში.
So you are a little bit blind in some sense, and for the reason, the combo, the monitor, it's useless for me. And also, this was a good decision, not to watch images, just to have faith, not to use monitor, have the 3 cameras, but at the same time, as I said, 3 cameras are not recording everything. And, it's difficult for them to interact in a harmonious way, the 3 cameras, to record different things. Because as I don't know what I am doing, as I don't try to interfere a lot in what is going in front of the camera, because I try to provoke the magic, that the magic naturally appears. But I cannot interfere because I can kill it if interfere, too much. I can destroy, this natural, grow up of the magic. But as I don't know when this magic will arrive, in which direction will arrive, how it will appear, it's also logical that the 3 cameras have some kind of autonomy and freedom. So my camera operators, they have the freedom to move the camera during the shot, during the scenes, sorry. To for example, because I always teach them, because all the people I work with, most of them young people like me, people that started, people that, I never work with a professional person I never work with a professional cinematographer or with a professional, sound, or a professional editor. I did everything on my own and with young people, passionate and with good taste that, I can teach or that could adapt the way I work or the way I want to work. Because a cinematographer or a camera operator, they are already all the time composing shots. But this for me was useless because composed shot, we are looking for the magic, we have to look for it. So I teach all the people that work with me to, from time to time, open, move the head and see what's going on there, in front of the camera. Not be all the time, composing the shot. They are all the time recording, obviously. But, to simply move up, and see what's going on, obviously they look at me. And if I see something interesting, with scenes or whatever, I say what they have to do. We communicate quite easily with scenes. No? But still, as they have this freedom, as even myself, I don't know from where this magic will appear, it's also absurd that they are looking at me because the magic will appear in front of the camera and I am not a magic, I am not God. I don't know how this magic or when and in which direction will appear. So I already teach them to, from time to time, always, put the head up, see what's going on, and then with this autonomy and with this freedom to move the camera, to change the shot. They have the total freedom of changing the shot, and obviously there were some ideas that make long shots, that it was easier because if you have a digital camera and you don't make long shots, what happens? It's to say that having a 35mm camera, if you are all the time changing your shots, because something nice can appear and then because you didn't recognize it and you change the shot. You know, it's an idiot. Why we are using digital cameras to make short shots? It's absurd. You know, it's counterproductive. It's to make, obviously there is this idea. It's to make long shots a little bit, not eternal, because you have to move your head and see what's going on in front, you know, and really decide to move if there is nothing interesting on what you are doing and try to find something else. But, you know, not to be, too nervous or because this magic, it doesn't appear easily. I mean, so we need some time.
როდესაც პროფესიონალი მუშაობს კამერასთან, ის უკვე ცდილობს რაღაც კომპოზიცია შექმნას, ჩასვას რაღაცა შარშოში ეს გამოსახულება და აღარ ეძებს იმ მომენტს, დაპერწავს რაღაცას, ის კადრებს მისდევს. და მე ჩემს თანამშრომელ ოპერატორებს ყოველთვის მეუბნები, რომ ხანდახან ამოყავით დავით და შეხედეთ რა ხდება და შეიძლება აიღოს შეცვალა იქიდან გამომდინარე, რაც დაინახე შენი პოზიცია კამერის. და იმოძრავ. ხანდახან შემთან მეს ხედავენ, რომ მაგალითად და შეიძლება რაღაც ინსტრუქცია მივცე, მაგრამ ეს უაზროა, ამიტომ აბსოლუტურ ავტონომიას ვაძლევ მას, მეც კი არ ვიცი რა მოხდება. ოპერატორები უბრალოდ დადგენ და მოძრაობენ, ხან უყურებენ რა ხდება და ყველა ვიცით, რომ ნაბერწლის შექმნა ასეთი მარტივი არ არის. და როდესაც შენ გდავ და გზელ კადრებს შეადგენენ, იმიტომ რომ ეს ცვლი კადრებს, მოკლე კადრებს ვიღებ, ისე უბრუნდები 35mm-ის ესთეტიკას, რაც ჩვენ არ გვჭირდება. ამიტომ გზელი კადრი გაძლევს საშუალებას, რომ იმოძრაოს დაიჭირო რაღაც მომენტი.
Of course, this creates a very problematic situation with the sound, because the sound people, you know, as the cameras are moving, as they don't know what they are really shooting. And the sound people, obviously, they have to go very close as close as possible to the action. So, obviously, we have started to use a lot of portable, this like mix, wireless mix. You know, a lot of these microphones, but still, you know, the cameras moving, the cameras, you know, shooting against each other, you know, for the sound people is very problematic. So I had also to teach young sound people to work in a different way, because they were simply preparing shots in professional filmmaking, 35, and they say the frame is this one. So you can go there and put and here it's impossible, you know. But at the same time, as we did digital technology, we use also digital technology on the post-production to hide all the microphones that were in the, you know, because it was, you know, inevitably that is full of mistakes on the sound. But we count on this because, you know, for me, it's the idea is very simple. You know, we shoot, I don't know, 15 days or I don't know, 20 days of shooting. That is my normal shooting, you know, or 20 days of shooting. And you know, we shoot every day with the 3 cameras, I don't know, usually 3 or 4 hours of sound, more or less. It means that you have 10 or 12 or hours of image. You know, 4 hours of sound. 4 hours of sound or 3 hours of sound every day, it means, no? But for 3 cameras. If I am not able of finding, you know, 4 minutes of magic, you know, I am totally an idiot. You know, 4 hours, 4 excellent moments, you know, really magic. You know, I should be able to do it. If not, you are not a filmmaker, you are an idiot. You know, only 4 minutes. You know, but then you put 4 minutes for 20 days and you have an 80-minute masterpiece. You know, you just need 4 minutes every day that with really it is magic. So for me it was very simple how to make a film.
ასე პრობლემა იქნებოდა ხმის შემთხვევაში, იმიტომ რომ როდესაც ყველა კამერა მოძრაობს, ხმის ფუნქცია აუცილებელია ხმისთვის, მაგრამ შეიძლება ახლოს იყოს და დააფიქსირონ ეს ხმა, მაგრამ როდესაც კამერა გამომებით მოძრაობს, მათთვის უფრო რთული არის კოორდინირება, იმიტომ რომ მიჩვეული არიან, რომ აი ოპერატორი დააყენებს კადრს, ეუბნება, ეხლა ახლა ხედი, აქ შეიძლება დაიჭირო, აქ არ შეიძლება, მაგრამ ეს არ არის, ამიტომ თავიდან მასწავლებელი ამ ახალგაზრდებს როგორ მიეშურონ ამ ვარსებს და ამგვარ მუშაობას და ამავე მუზეუმში ყოფნას. და საბოლოო ჯამში, ჩემი მუშაობის პროცესი დაახლოებით ასე 20 დღიანი გადაღებები არის, ესეთ ნორმალური საშუალო რაოდენობის დღეებია ჩემთვის, ყოველ დღეში დაახლოებით 3-4 საათის ხმა მქონდა. ალბათ იდიოტი უნდა იყო, რომ დღეში სამივე კამერების 3-4 საათიანი მასალა გავდა, იმ 3 საათიანი მასალაში 4 წუთიანი რაღაცა პატარა ჯადოსნური მომენტი ვერ იპოვო. ამიტომ ანუ ეს არის დღეში 4 წუთი რომ შეაგროვო რაღაცა ესეთი განსაკუთრებული მომენტები, სადაც 20 დღის თავზე და 14 წუთიანი გენიალური ფილმი.
You are not capable of having only 4 minutes that are really perfect and nice and inspiring. You know, with 4 hours of shooting or 3 hours per day, only 4 minutes of, you know, really nice and excellent thing, you know. It's easy. 20 days, a feature that it's perfect.
ეს საფრთხე მარტივია, რომ 60 საათიანი გადაღების შემდეგ როგორ ვერ უნდა შექმნა რაღაც 60 წუთიანი რაღაც იდეალურად შექმნილი რაღაც კადრები.
The problem is that these 4 minutes every day has to be homogeneous. And then they have to match all these great moments, and they have to create a coherent, you know, content, a coherent, drama. But again, it's a little bit a matter of faith. That at the end you will only not have 4 minutes every day, but you will have more. So you will have a wider choice in the edit to I don't know, to make these good moments as coherent as possible. Be a little bit on, no, every filmmaker is different. But in my case, obviously, as I developed these strategies of the 3 cameras to provoke this magic, you know, not using monitor, the freedom of the thing. And as I said, that it's a matter of faith, you know, that this element, you cannot judge it immediately because it's a sensation, it's a feeling. I also create some strategies for myself as a director and to create this magic without killing it, without interfering too much.
შეიძლება რომ შექმნა არის ჯადოსნური რაღაცა მომენტი და თორემ არ გაგანდობთ ეს სკოლი რეჟისორის პირადი საიდუმლო არის როგორ მუშაობს აქტორთან და როგორ ქმნი ამ ჯადოსნურს როგორ პროვოცირებ ამ ჩემი პირადი საიდუმლო არის და ნუ ეს არის თავარი ზუსტად ჩვენი მისია რომ შევქმნათ ეს.
I will put some examples just to make you understand. For example, I don't know, if I know, for example, that that there is a possibility that 2 actors will do something, blah, blah, blah. For example, I talk with one actor, you know, and I give him some clear instructions or even sentence or depends, you know. But I give him some clear instructions of what he has to do in the scene. But all the other actors that are on the scene, they don't know that I have talked with this actor. So all the others think that they are there with the same lack of instructions that they don't know they have to do. But one of them knows what he has to do because I told him what he has to do. Then, okay, something strange will happen. I don't know what will happen because, you know, all the other people, they don't know anything. I don't know how they will react. But I put a little bit in the mind of one of the actors a direction, you know, a thing that a direction where I think this will create interesting moments. But nothing else. I sit and wait that these moments will appear by themselves. So, you know, something will happen, maybe in the good direction that I like, or in this direction that will be coherent with another nice moment or another magical moment of the previous day, so for the reason, but I don't know how it will be developed. And the actors have to, you know, work on this on their own and have the, if not, as I said before, I will put myself as an actor. Because if you talk, if you give instruction to more actors, all actors, then you are interfering too much. You are already creating meanings, inevitably. And I think that you will kill the possibility of this magic be born. So, but just to one, with all the others not knowing, you know, that if this one has the instruction, I think it's in the good level. Sometimes I use this to talk with the actors very loud, to put a lot of pressure. You know, when I see that there is something interesting happening, and then I want to put a lot of pressure, I talk with all the actors, but openly, in front of the technicians, in front during the scene. Because in my films, the actors, they only have 3 rules. That is, you know, not talking to me, not answering me, not stopping acting, and not talking, not reacting, and not looking at the camera. You know, it's the only 3 rules. You know, they can do whatever they want. If they are tired, they can lie down. If you have to go to pee, you go to pee. You do whatever you want. They will never be guilty of not doing anything interesting, you know. But never talk to me, never look at me or look at the camera, you know, and never stop acting, you know. And with this, we have been shots, you know, even with 0 communication, there was nothing happening during 1 hour and a half in some films. So, and I am there, and sometimes I can use this technique of putting a lot of pressure in front of everybody, like yelling, some, you know, very, you know, not funny things, or against with a lot of aggressivity, just to put more tension on that. I think that, but this is another strategy, you know, it's just to create a different kind of moments. Or sometimes totally the opposite, you know, non-communication, you know, 0 communication with actors and with technicians too. What this puts another kind of aggressivity in the shooting that it's sometimes interesting, because technicians need to know what to do. But it's another way to avoid, you know, superficial meanings appear, you know, in a stupid way. And for example, another strategy, never repeating one scene. Even if I like a lot one actor that has done something that I really like, that it's super nice, I never ask them to repeat it. Even if there was a technical problem, that there was no problem with the sound or the cameras or whatever, and was super magic, I never ask them to repeat it. And I ask them to do variations of the things, you know, a little bit similar but different. And always, you know, switching the dialogues, you know, with different scenes. No. Just to, you know, get something closer, but at the same time, not manipulating too much to prevent, you know, this thing appearing by itself.
ასევე არასდროს არ მივიღებ ერთი და იგივე სცენას, რამდენჯერ ვიმეორებ სცენებს, ხო ერთ რომ გადავიღებ, მეორე იგივეს აღარ ვაკეთებ, იმისთვის რომ ისე და ისე არ ჩავერიო მსახიობის თამაში. მე შეიძლება მეთხოვ ხოლმე რომ რაღაც ინტერპრეტაციები დააგეკო, რაღაც მსგავსებული, მაგრამ არასდროს არ ვცდილობ რომ პროვოცირება გავუკეთო რაღაც იგივეს და გამეორებას და რაღაც ცდელობა.
And this is most important, no? You know, having the faith that this magic is there, feeling the atmosphere, you know, reacting a little bit because, you know, you cannot be all the time doing the same thing without absolutely no movement. But, you know, always with a matter of trust. And for the reason, I never, since the very beginning, I never want to have the whole image of what's going on. This is, for example, if I am in the shooting and I want to, you know, to see what's going on in the set in front of the camera, I go closer to the action to see what's going on, but I turn back. So I only listen to the dialogues, but I don't see what's going on. You know, or the opposite. If I want to really see what's going on, I go far and I don't listen what they say. But I never want to have the whole image. This is the image and the sound, hearing and seeing what's going on. Never. This is for me a rule. I cannot remember now, you know, the last time that I was there and really watching and listening what was going on. And it's simple because it's the way that to avoid, you know, making superficial reactions of what you have in front of you. You know, this idea of not judging, to have a feeling, to understand, you know, if the magic maybe is there, and to pray, you know, that this will be on the images. Sometimes I use, for example, I don't want to see or need not see and not listening anything. And I am there very far and I simply communicate to the sound people, you know, or to the cameras, but mostly to the sound people, young people I teach, but they do not have my taste. But more or less, you know, they know me a little bit. Not, you know, not perfectly, but they know me. And from far, I do like this, and like this, you know. And the sound guy makes this, or you know. And if he says like this, maybe I say it and I stop or I make, you know, some things to change. But just because the sound guy tell me, yes, this or this, not me. I even didn't see or listen anything of what's going on.
ნიშანი ვანიშნოთ სულია კარგია ისერა, ის იმქენებიდან მანიშნებს რომ ან კარგია ხმა, სულია ხმა, ასე თუ მე ხმის ოპერატორმა მხრაო რომ ხმა სულიაო, მე შეიძლება ამიტომ უბრალოდ გავაჩერო ეს თენა გადაღება და მე ჩემი პირადი გადაწყვეტილება კი არა, იმისი გადაწყვეტილება არის ეს.
I haven't seen anything or listening anything of what happened, so I react because this person tells me, because I know, you know, it's again to avoid judging and reacting, you know, directly and superficially, you know, and trying to push for meanings that will be superficial. Obviously, it's risky, but because you can risk that there is nothing interesting or that you can kill something good that was happening because, these people are not a genius. I mean, the sound guy. I mean, it's not a genius of deciding if what is that is good or bad. But so you can go there and put it, and here it's impossible, but at the same time, as we did digital technology, we use also digital technology on the post-production to hide all the microphones that were in the, because it was, inevitably that it's full of mistakes on the sound, but we count on this because, for me, it's the idea is very simple. We shoot, 15 days or 20 days of shooting. That is my normal shooting, or 20 days of shooting, and we shoot every day with the 3 cameras. Usually 3 or 4 hours of sound, more or less. It means that we have 10 or 12 or hours of image. 4 hours of sound. 4 hours of sound or 3 hours of sound every day. It means, but for 3 cameras. If I am not able of finding, 4 minutes of magic, I am totally an idiot. 4 hours, 4 excellent moments, really magic. I should be able to do it. If not, I'm not a filmmaker, you're an idiot. Only 4 minutes. But then you put 4 minutes for 20 days and you have an 80-minute masterpiece. You just need 4 minutes every day that will really this magic. So for me it was very simple how to make a film.
ასე პრობლემა იქნებოდა ხმის შემთხვევაში, იმიტომ რომ როდესაც ყველა კამერა მოძრაობს, ხმის ფუნქცია აუცილებელია ხმისთვის, რომ ავტორ შეიძლება ახლოს იყონ, რომ დააფიქსირონ ეს ხმა, მაგრამ როდესაც კამერა გამუდმებით მოძრაობს, მათთვის უფრო რთული არის კოორდინირება, იმიტომ რომ მიჩვეული არიან, რომ ოპერატორი დააყენებს კადრს, გეუბნება, ეხა ახლო ხედი, აქ შეგიძლია დაიჭირო, აქ არ შეგიძლია, მაგრამ აქ ეს არ არის, ამიტომ თავიდან ვასწავლიდი ამ ახალგაზრდებს, როგორ მიეჩვიონ ამგვარ სეტს და ამგვარ მუშაობას და გამუდმებულ მოძრაობაში ყოფნას. და საბოლოო ჯამში, ჩემი მუშაობის პროცესი დაახლოებით ასე 20 დღიანი გადაღებები არის, ესეც ნორმალური საშუალო რაოდენობის დღეებია ჩემთვისო. ყოველ დღეში დაახლოებით 3-4 საათის ხმა მქონდა. და ალბათ იდიოტი უნდა იყო, რომ დღეში 3-ვე კამერისთვის 3-4 საათიანი მასალა გაგდა, იმ 3-4 საათიან მასალაში 4 წუთიანი რაღაცა პატარა ჯადოსნური მომენტი ვერ იპოვო. ამიტომ ეს არის დღეში 4 წუთი რომ შეაგრო რაღაცა ისეთი განსაკუთრებული მომენტები, 20 დღის თავზე გან 80 წუთიანი გენიალური ფილმი.
You are not capable of having only 4 minutes that are really perfect and nice and inspiring. 4 hours of shooting or 3 hours per day, only 4 minutes of really nice and excellent thing. It's easy. 20 days, a feature that it's perfect.
და ეს საფრთხე მარტივი არის, რომ 3-4 საათიანი გადაღების შემდეგ როგორ ვერ უნდა შექმნა რაღაცა 3-4 წუთიანი რაღაცა იდეალურად შეკრული რაღაცა კადრი.
The problem is that this 4 minutes every day has to be homogeneous, and then they have to match all these great moments, and that has to create a coherent, content, a coherent drama.
და ამას არჩევადია აირჩიო ის 3-4 მინუტი ხანდახან არის მასალა რომელიც ბევრია ნამეტანი მოქმედი არის ხო და შემდგომ აირჩიო ესეთი კოჰერენტული ახმადი მასალა რომელიც შემდეგ შეიკრება ერთმანეთში.
But again it's a little bit a matter of faith that at the end you will only not have 4 minutes every day but you will have more. So you will have a wider choice in the edit to to make these good moments as coherent as possible.
უნდა წმენა გქონდეს იმისი რომ არა უბრალოდ 4 წუთს არამედ ცოტა მეტსაც შექმნი ყოველ დღე რომ მე არჩევანი გქონდეს და უფრო მეტი გასატანი გქონდეს რომ მე შემდეგ ეს გადაამონტაჟე და შექმნა რაღაცა ბრინვალე მონტაჟის დროს.
But we come back still the main thing is to provoke the magic and obviously this is difficult and this I will not explain obviously how I do it because it most kept secret of filmmakers, that's how to create this magic or how to deal with actors. It will be a little bit, every filmmaker is different. But in my case, obviously, as I developed these strategies of the 3 cameras to provoke this magic, not using monitor, the freedom of the thing. And as I said, that it's a matter of fact, that you have this element, you cannot judge it immediately because it's a sensation, it's a feeling. I also create some strategies for myself as a director and to create this magic without killing it, without interfering too much.
ან თავარი მისია ასე ვთქვათ საბოლოო ჯამში დასკვნით გავაკეთოთ რომ არის თქო ის იმის შესაძლებლობა რომ შექმნა აი ეს ჯადოსნური რაღაცა მომენტი და რა თქმა უნდა არ გაგანდობთ ეს ყოველი რეჟისორის პირადი საიდუმლო არის როგორ მუშაობს აქტიორთან და როგორ ქმნი ამ ჯადოსნურს და როგორ პროვოცირებ ამას ჩემი პირადი საიდუმლო არის მაგრამ ნუ ეს არის თავარი ზუსტად ჩვენი მისია რომ შევქმნათ ეს
I will put some examples just to make you understand. For example, I don't know. If I know, for example, that that there is a possibility that two actors will do something, blah blah blah. For example, I go with one actor, and I give him some clear instructions or even sentence or depends. But I give him some clear instructions of what he has to do in the scene. But all the other actors that are on the scene, they don't know that they have talked with this actor. So all the others think that they are there with the same lack of instructions that they don't know they have to do. But one of them knows what he has to do because I told him what he has to do. Then, okay, something strange will happen. I don't know what will happen. Because, all the other people, they don't know anything, I don't know how they will react. But I put a little bit in the mind of one of the actors a direction, a thing that a direction where I think this will create interesting moments. But nothing else. I sit and wait that these moments will appear by themselves.
ანუ რას ვაკეთებ მეორე ხანდახანო სამი მსახიობი თუ მყავს ან რამდენი მსახიობი მყავს ხოლმე ერთთან მივდივარ და ამ ერთს ვაძლევ რაღაც კონკრეტულ ინსტრუქციას თუ რა უნდა გააკეთოს მან დანარჩენებმა არ იციან არაფერი არც ის იმის შესახებაც არ იციან რომ მე ამ ერთ ადამიანს ვესაუბრე ან ყველას გონია რომ არავინ არ იცის რას ვაკეთებ ამგვარად მე რაღაც პატარა მიმართულებას ვაძლევ მათ იმის მიხედვით რომ აი ვფიქრობ რომ აი ამან შეიძლება მისცეს საბაბი რაღაცის შექმნას პატარა მიმართულებას ვაძლევ. შემდეგ კი ვზივარ უბრალოდ და ველოდები, როდის შეიძლება ეს მოხდეს.
So, something will happen, maybe in the good direction that I like, or in this direction that will be coherent with another nice moment or another magical moment of the previous day, so for the reason, but I don't know how it will be developed. And the actors have to, work on this on their own, and have if not, as I said before, I will put myself as an actor.
ანუ ამგვარად მე არ ვიცი რა მოხდება, მოგოთ ველოდები რომ ან იმ მიმართულებით რომელიც ჩემთვის საინტერესოა და მე მჭირდება მოხდება რაღაცა, ან ყოველ შემთხვევაში იმასთან მაინც იქნება კოჰერენტული, რაც ვთქვათ წინადღეებში გადავიღეთ და ამ გადაბმაში იქნება რაღაც საინტერესო, რაც იმოქმედებს.
Because if you give instruction to more actors, all actors, then you are interfering too much. You are already creating meanings inevitably. And I think that you will kill the possibility of this magic being born. So, but just to one, with all the others not knowing, that this one has the instruction, I think it's in the good level.
Ну, საფრთხება მან თვითონ უნდა იმუშაოს, იმაზე რომ შექმნან ეს მომენტი. ამ ეტაპზე მე ვთვლი რომ ეს არის ზუსტად ის საჭირო დოზა ერთ ადამიანს რომ აუხსნა. ეს ჩარევის საჭირო დოზა არის, ამაზე მეტი უკვე ზედმეტი ჩარევა იქნება და გავლენა, ზედმეტი გავლენა და ხელოვნურობა წარმოიქმნება. ამიტომ ერთ ადამიანს რომ მისცემ ინსტრუქციას, ეს საკმარისია ჩემთვის, დანარჩენი არ ვიცი.
Sometimes I use this to talk with the actors very loud to put a lot of pressure. When I see that there is something interesting happening, and then I want to put a lot of pressure, I talk with all the actors but openly, in front of the technicians, during the scene. Because in my films, the actors, they only have 3 rules. That is, not talking to me, not answering me, not stopping acting, and not talking, not reacting, and not looking at the camera. It's only 3 rules. They can do whatever they want. If they are tired, they can lie down. If you have to go to pee, you go to be, you do whatever you want. They will never be guilty of not doing anything interesting, But never talk to me, never look at me or look at the camera, and never stop acting, And with this, we have been shots, even with zero communication, there was nothing happening during 1 hour and a half in some films.
ამგვარად ჩემ მინიმუმმა დამყავს ჩემი ჩარევაო, ხანდახან თუმცა როდესაც ვხედავ რაღაცა საინტერესო ხდება, გახსნილად პირდაპირ ხმამაღლა ვესაუბრები ყველას ისე რომ ტექნიკოსებიცაც ესმის და მსახიობებიცაც ესმის და ყველას ესმის ისედაც მე ვამბობ, მაგრამ ეხლა ერთი წესი რომელიც მსახიობებისთვის არსებობს, რომ ისინი არ მიყურებენ მე, არ პასუხობენ მე, არ იყურებიან კამერაში, ისინი absolუტურად თავისუფლები არიან. შეუძლია ტუალეტში გავიდეს შუა გადაღების დროს არაფერი არ აკეთოს, მაგრამ თავარი წესი არის, რომ არ შეწყვიტონ თამაში. და შეიძლება ხანდახან ზოგ გადაღებაზე 1 საათის განმავლობაში საერთოდ არანაირი კომუნიკაცია არ ხდება ჩვენ შორის, უბრალოდ ზიანდა რაღაცას აკეთებენ.
So, and I am there, and sometimes I can use this technique of putting a lot of pressure in front of everybody, like yelling, some, very, not funny things or games with a lot of aggressivity, just to put more tension on that. I think that, but this is another strategy, it's just to create a different kind of moment.
და სწორედ ეს სტრატეგია, როდესაც ეს მათ ესაუბრება, ის ხანდახან უხეში არის, ხანდახან შეიძლება ცუდი ხუმრობა გაუშვას ან რაღაცა იმისთვის, რომ დაზაბულობა და რაღაცა ზეწოლა გავლენა მოახდინოს. ყოველთვის რომ მობილიზებულები იყვნენ, რაღაც ზეწოლას ახდენს მათი.
Or sometimes totally the opposite, non-communication, zero communication with actors and with technicians too. What this puts another kind of aggressivity in the shooting that it's sometimes interesting because technicians need to know what to do. But it's another way to avoid, superficial meanings appear, in a stupid way.
ან მეორე ვარიანტი არის, რომ აბსოლუტურად არანაირი კომუნიკაცია არ მიდის, არც ტექნიკოსებთანაც კი ან ოპერატორებთანაც კი ან ხანდახან მაინც მათთვის საჭიროა რომ წინასწარ იცოდნენ რა ხდება, რას ვაკეთებთ, მაგრამ ეს ზეწოლის კიდე მეორე ვარიანტი არის, როდესაც არანაირ ხელოვნურს არაფერს არ ქმნიან, აბსოლუტურად არანაირი ზეწოლა არ არის, რაც უნდა ის გააკეთონ.
And for example, other strategy, never repeating one scene. Even if I like a lot one actor that has done something that I really like, that is super nice, I never ask them to repeat it. Even if there was a technical problem, that there was no problem with the sound or the cameras or whatever, and it was super magic, I never asked them to repeat it. And I asked them to do variations of the things. Maybe a little bit similar but different. And always, switching the dialogues, with different scenes. Just to, get something closer, but at the same time, not manipulating too much to prevent, this thing appearing by itself.
ასევე არასდროს არ ვიღებ ერთი და იგივე სცენას, რამდენჯერ არ ვიმეორებ სცენებს, ხო ერთ რომ გადავიღებ, მეორედ უკვე იგივეს აღარ ვაკეთებ, იმისთვის რომ ისევ და ისევ არ ჩავერიო მსახიობების თამაში. მე შეიძლება მე ვთხოვ ხოლმე მას, რომ რაღაც ინტერპრეტაციები გააკეთო, რაღაცა მიმსგავსებული, მაგრამ არასდროს არ ვცდილობ, რომ პროვოცირება გავუკეთო რაღაცა იგივეს და გამეორებას და რაღაც მცდელობა.
And this is most important, having the faith that this magic is there, feeling the atmosphere, reacting a little bit, because, you cannot be all the time doing the same thing without absolutely no movement. But, always is a matter of trust. And for the reason, I never, since the very beginning, I never want to have the whole image of what's going on. This is, for example, if I am in the shooting and I want to, to see what's going on in the set in front of the camera, I go closer to the action to see what's going on, but I turn back. So I only listen to the dialogues, but I don't see what's going on. Or the opposite. If I want to really see what's going on, I go far and I don't listen what they say. But I never want to have the whole image. But this is the image and the sound, hearing and seeing what's going on. Never. This is for me a rule.
ასევე უნდა კონდეს მობილიზება იმის, რომ გამოვიდეთ იგრძნო ეს მომენტი რა ხდება იქ, მაგრამ მე ჩემ თავს ზღუდავ და ყოველთვის ბოლომდე არასდროს არ ვიცი რა ხდება. არის ერთი ვარიანტი, როცა მინდა გავიგო რა ხდება, ახლოს მივდივარ უფრო ქმედებასთან, მაგრამ ზურგით ვდგებიო და მარტო დიალოგს ვუსმენო, ან როცა მინდა რომ დავინახო რა ხდება, მივდივარ შორს და მხოლოდ ვუყურებ და არ ვუსმენ.
I cannot remember now, the last time that I was there and really watching and listening what was going on.
არც კი მახსოვს ისეთ ბოლო მომენტი, როდესაც ერთდროულად ვუსმენდი და ვუყურებდი და მთლიანად არ ვფამდი რა ხდება საერთოდ.
And it's simple because it's the way that to avoid, making superficial reactions of what you have in front of you. This idea of not judging, to have a feeling, to understand, if the magic maybe is there, and to pray, that this will be on the basis.
ეს მარტივია, რადგან ამგვარად შენ არ სჯი და არ აფასებ იმას, რასაც ხდება, არამედ შეგრძნებების დონეზე გადადიხარ და შეიგრძნობ იმ ჯადოს რაღაც მომენტს თუ ის მოხდება და არა შეფასებით და გონებით არც გამოიცნო.
Sometimes for example, I don't want to see or need not see and not listening anything. And I am there very far and I simply communicate to the sound people, or to the cameras, but mostly to the sound people, young people I teach, but they do not have my text. But more or less, they know me a little bit. Not perfectly, but they know me. And from far, I do like this, and like this, And the sound guy makes this, or this, or this, And if he says like this, maybe I said and I stop or I make, some things to change.